Anywho, this is the AK corner. we're gonna hopefully talk AKs today with our good buddy Marco. But before we do that, Marco, we got to do this.
Welcome to Season 6 of the Talking Live AK Corner, presented by Pioneer Arms Corp USA.
And just like that, we are into the August edition of the Talking Lead AK Corner presented by Pioneer Arms Corps USA. And man, what a season it has been. We have covered numerous topics through these past 7 months. We're in month 8 now with August. And this is going to be a doozy of an episode here. And joining me is my awesome co-host. You know him, you love him. He's an author, he's a historian, he's a former Soviet soldier, Spetsnaz to be specific, and happens to be an expert because he was there for our topic that we're going to be talking about today, which is the Soviet-Afghan war that happened between, 1979 and 89, Marco?
Yeah, it started right on the Christmas, December 25th, 1979.
Yeah.
And then the last soldier was pulled out of there, crossed that Friendship Bridge into Soviet Union on February 15th of 1989.
There you go. So no matter what you've read or the media that you've seen that's talked about this, covered this, you're going to get firsthand information from somebody who was there, who's from the Soviet Union at the time, to give you the facts. And we're also going to be talking about probably mainly the small arms that were used during the conflict. Now, Marco has some articles on this that he did a few years ago, back with what was the firearm?
Shotgun news, then firearm news.
Yeah.
Back, to be precise, it was a series of 12 articles that were written back in 2011, I think.
Around,
and,
yeah. It says.
And they were the Guns of Spetsnaz. It's a series of talking about the Soviet firearms used, the small firearms used in Afghanistan, and then the 5-part series was the Guns of Opposition, of Afghan opposition.
Of the Mooj.
Yeah, the Mooj, yeah.
The Mooj. So we're going to talk high level today. We'll get into some details, but if you want to get some really good details about this war, the Soviet-Afghan war, and the firearms that were used, the small arms, go to the Firearms News website there and just search Marco Vorobiev. And then not only those, but I mean, you've written hundreds throughout the years of articles for them, and they're all, I guess the majority of them there. I don't know if they're all there or not.
Not all, but a lot of good ones, though, but
yeah.
Upbringing the youth, some of the training stuff, some of the, things like, how to prepare for your classes, things like don't be that guy type of deal. And, things like use of, since I spend most of my time in the country of Afghanistan carrying a Dragunov rifle and, in the sniper role, so a lot of things pertaining to sniping and the sniper rifle developments and such as.
Yeah. So we're going to get into that and get more details from Marco on that. If you didn't get an opportunity, make sure you go to last month's episode of the Talking Lead AK Corner, where we talked gear, how to properly gear up if you're going to be running an AK. We talked about some different rigs and different ways to wear those and proper ways to wear those. So that's a really good episode. So make sure you go back, check that out. And then coming up, and we talked about this in that episode, we've got the big giveaway for the Pioneer Arms US Hell Puppy that we're going to be giving away in September. And we're going to give you the details on how you can be eligible to win this. And I think we'll just go ahead and do that before we get into our main topic. Marco, what do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's get that out of the way.
Let's get that out of the way, and then we can get down to business. So, like we do with most of our big giveaways, is we have like a list of things that you have to accomplish. And they're usually pretty easy for the most part because we want everybody to participate. We don't want to discourage anybody from participating. But you got to be an avid listener maybe to pick up on some of this info. So this is going to be, I think it's a three-part trivia question. And you're going to email your answers to me, talkingled@gmail.com. And then in the subject, you're going to put AKK September, and you can abbreviate September, Hell Pup. You don't have to put giveaway or anything. Just put the AKK September Hell Pup. And that's how you're going to enter. You're going to email me your answers to these questions. So,
yeah,
has to do with, I accidentally muted myself. One of our episodes, we had CJ Johnson, who everybody knows CJ. If you don't know who CJ is, then you're not an avid listener, and you're not going to win any of these giveaways that we do. He had mentioned the regiment that he served in while he was in the Army. I want the regiment that he served in, what his rank was, and then what famous historical event his regiment is tied to. And he talks about it in that episode. So that's one. That's part one. Part two is CJ recently did a trip. Oh, Marco's holding something up there. Let me switch over there. CJ recently did a trip to Alaska, from Florida to Alaska. And if you spot him, then he was giving away guns. And as far as I know, nobody's found CJ yet to claim the gun. We periodically gave you updates on where he was headed, where he was going to be. As of this recording, I think he might be on his way back from Alaska. I'm not 100% certain. But he is in a particular type of vehicle, and we gave you details on what to look for, how to spot him on the American highways. Doesn't count if you see him in Canada, because you can't give guns in Canada. So, what type vehicle is CJ driving, and what color is it? So we need the make, I guess would be make or model. What kind of vehicle it is, what color it is. So that's part two. And part three is, I said, this is our August edition of the AK Corner. We've had some great shows. This is probably our best season yet that we've had in our 6 seasons of doing this. I want you to tell me the topics of every episode up until now, up until this episode, including this episode, and who our guests have been. And like I said, Marco's been in every one of them, so you just have to put Marco down one time. You don't have to put that he was a guest in each episode. I want a list of all the different guests that we've had. So Marco's been on, CJ's been on, and there's been other people that have been on. So I want you to name all of our guests for just the AK Corner, not the regular show. Okay? So topics and the guest. Oh, ooh, who's that? We need to get her on the show.
I'm
Marco,
sure she she
questionable.
doesn't she
Maggie.
doesn't look like this anymore. That was about 12 years ago.
Okay. Did you write an article about her?
No, I wrote an article about
She was smoking hot.
the Appleseed project.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We've actually talked about that on the show a few years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Pretty good program. If the instructors at the Appleseed look like that, people are
No,
missing.
they don't. It's 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 something different.
So those are the 3 questions that you have to answer to be eligible for the Hell Puppy giveaway next month. Next month's AK Corner. You got now until then, which we're going to say the cutoff is the 8th because today's the 8th. So as we're recording this, that's 1 full month. And I'm going to recap one last time. So name the regiment that C.J. Johnson served in. What his rank was, and then what famous historical U.S. American historical event that his regiment was tied to. Name the make, model, and color of the vehicle that he is doing his trek from Florida to Alaska, Alaska back to Florida in. And name all the topics and guests for this season's AK Corner up until this episode, including this episode. So pretty easy. I think these are probably easier than the last one that we did, the last big giveaway that we did. So there you go. That is your marching orders. You got your marching orders. You want to win one of these, and it's the Hell Puppy Pro is what it is, the Pro version, and it comes with the rail. It comes with the sling adapter mount. It comes with a sling. I think it's 2 magazines. There's an additional muzzle device that also comes with it, in addition to this one. It's got rail covers. I don't have the rail covers on here. And am I missing anything? I think that's everything it comes with.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like you don't even have to, you don't have to, what's the word I'm looking, tactical in your Draco, whatever. So
Yeah.
this one comes complete with the muzzle booster. With, I think in the box it comes with additional muzzle device.
The rail thing, you can switch out your normal, what's it called?
The rear sight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it because I would not do it. Look how high it sits.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good design for someone that they want to do it, but this gun comes with the side rail. Would you flip that, Marty?
Yeah, and it also has the rail.
Yeah, so use the Midwest Industries removable thing, but have your backup sights. I mean, that freaking thing, you drop it in the snow or in the mud, that's it. You're blind.
Yep. Actually, Marco, you know what I did? I was doing some beauty pics of these AKs by my pool.
Yeah.
And I dropped this one in the pool.
Oh, you did?
I did. And it was there for like 2 minutes, submerged, and everything still works. But I had it treated with Seal 1, so there's no rust on it.
Yeah, there's that microscopic coating of lube on it.
Yeah.
You know, we have to remember, although it feels smooth and everything, but still is porous.
Yeah.
So you got it.
I took a leaf blower and just blew it out, dried it out, and I kept my eye on it, and no rust, not even on the springs or up in the gas tube or nothing, man.
Oh, really? So you didn't fill up the bathtub with Ballistol?
No, because I treated it with
like some of the less witty people in the AK community years ago suggested that's how you clean your AK.
exactly.
And then
I
they
just,
said, in Afghanistan, the Mujahideen would dip them in a 50-gallon diesel drum full of diesel. Yeah, right. In Afghanistan,
he did. Yeah.
in Afghanistan, uh, Mujahideen, if they got a hold of a 50-gallon drum of diesel, would use it to, use their put it in their trucks or whatever.
I think what they meant, Marco, was they were hiding them in 50-gallon
Quite honestly, I don't even
drums.
know what they what they meant by that. But
But anyway,
anyway,
giveaway. This is the coolness that you can do with it when you get all the accessories. Now this one doesn't have the pick rail. I had an extra SB tactical, like a buffer tube thingy, whatever they call them. So I put it on that. But I think if they're available, you're also going to get the Picatinny for the rail, so you can switch out the sling adapter, and then you
not
can
only you can switch out the swing adapter, and then there's a bunch of braces available with that Picatinny attachment.
yeah. SB has
So,
one too. I've
yeah,
got
and
it.
and if you're gonna short barrel rifle to SBR it, then your Alpha, a new Alpha stock from Alpha line from Midwest Industries will go right on it, on that
They got
little
a pick.
Picatinny. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't know. I've got one of their. You were talking about for the side mount. I've got one of those ordered so I can side mount my optic for
It's by
the
far. There's another guy, Robert, I think is his name. It's RS Regulate.
yeah, RS Regulate. Yeah, they
Yeah,
make
those are really, really good side mounts. But for the money and for availability and right out the gate, Midwest Industries side mount was awesome.
So I was going to pull that up. Here's the Alpha Series folder that Marco's talking about here. Yes, I'm 18 years. What's this deal with every site asking if I'm 18 years or older?
Right. Well, yeah, whatever.
Government. So here's the brace
Yeah.
there.
So the beauty of this particular, it's not a brace, it's a stock right here. So
Yeah.
the beauty of this stock is that the knuckle itself could be rotated 180 degrees, and you can fold it either in the right or to the left or to the right.
Okay, so it gives you the option to go either
Yeah.
direction there. So that's a aggressive looking stock there, but I think they do a brace also.
So the stock itself is telescopic, and it's got built-in chick riser, which it's not like a push button adjustable, but it's two hex screws, not hex, but Allen key head, whatever.
Right.
So you can adjust it for your whatever it is, and then your side implement, and then you just leave it there. And if you don't need it, you just drop it to zero, so to speak. But the telescopic portion of it is the button operator.
I looked under pistol accessories just to see if that's where they might be. But anyway, you go to Midwest Industries and you'll go down a rabbit hole there looking at all the cool stuff that they've got. So can't go wrong with Midwest Industries. RS Regulate again, like Marco said, and then SB Tactical also has. What are you holding up there?
Guns of Afghan Opposition, Part 2. And
It looks like a newspaper. Is that a magazine or a newspaper?
it's a Shotgun News.
Okay.
It wasn't like this until like 2014. And that's the two I found. And then there's 5 parts of the Guns of Spetsnaz.
Okay.
Small
Well, these are
arms of
printed
Spetsnaz.
versions that Marco's showing you there, but they do have them online, or they should have all of them online because we did find one.
But here's just to give you an idea what kind of article. I mean, it's like freaking 10-page article. Let's see, where is it? Where does it start? And then there's pictures. There's yeah. So it looks sort of like so. Rifles was the first one. and it's got a bunch of actual combat like pictures and stuff, and
Very cool.
with
70.
the gear, and then the next one is sniper rifles, then machine guns, then pistols, and then heavy weapons. So
RPGs and things like that.
yeah, let's see.
Well, we're gonna give you a little taste of that today in this episode. But if you haven't done it yet, make sure you follow us, you subscribe. If you're listening to this and you're not subscribed on the system that you're listening to, Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever it may be, Rumble, if you're watching the video, smash that subscribe button because that helps us with the analytics and gets us out there more to people who may not have found us yet. And we greatly appreciate that. Word of mouth can't replace that. So tell your buddies, tell your friends about the show. Nobody takes care of their listeners better than Talking Lead and our sponsors like Pioneer Arms. We've given away at least 12 that I can think of right now, 12 firearms this year between the show, the different events that we've been to. NRA, I think he gave away 5 or 6, maybe more at NRA. Plus, I mean, he's trying to give them away on his excursion to Alaska and back. He's got guns to give away. What's that? Marco's holding up his action figures now. Is it a G.I. Joe? Oh my gosh. Those look like those color, what were they? Fashion plates. You remember that? You remember fashion plates back in the day, back in the 80s?
The girls had those.
Yeah, but this was like for guys, for military.
No, there wasn't. No, the real guys never played with fashion plates. But that was me.
Oh, are those magnets?
No, they just cutouts.
Just cutouts?
Yeah.
Send me those. I want those.
I only have one set.
I must have them. We must have a T-shirt made.
So I found most of this as in the doubles. So I might offer those as I might. Somebody needs to talk me into as price.
I want them first, and then people can have them after me. How about that?
How are you gonna do it? You're gonna read it, and then gonna send it to someone because I only have one.
I'm gonna pay it forward. What we'll do is you autograph them, send them to me. Let me read them. And then from this point forward on every episode, we'll give one away to a listener.
Okay. Well, I don't know. You got to talk me into parting with those because they will never be reprinted.
It just sounded like you were getting ready to give them out anyway. So.
No, I didn't. I said somebody needs to talk me into it.
Oh, as in come up with a little scratch. I see. Hey, we could auction them off. We could do that. Auction them off to the highest bidder and then donate it to the Appleseed
All right.
Foundation.
I'm ready for you.
All right. Marco is ready. We've got him warmed up. We're going to talk about the Soviet-Afghan war that happened between 79 and 89, 10 years. 10-year war.
No, it wasn't. It was like 9 and 3 months.
Almost 10 years. What many consider or are calling Russia's Vietnam. Would you agree with that? Or
Absolutely not.
Nothing
of the sort. Even if you compare the reasoning behind the conflict,
completely different.
It's two different things. I mean,
I haven't agreed with that analogy either. I thought it's been ridiculous that
what they meant by that it was Russian Vietnam in a way that they think that the Russian military bogged down and in the mire of that war, and hit the wall and didn't know what to do afterwards, like the U.S. did.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
But
There were
Vietnam was much longer than
right. Well, Vietnam's been longer, and also the way that it was fought and the way it ended was different.
yeah.
Uh, like I said, the biggest thing is reason for it to start, and then reason for it to end. It's two different things. So no parallel other than young men fighting and dying that could compare, as it is in the war, that could compare between those two conflicts.
Yeah. So let's do it. Let's start off with just kind of doing the brief history from your point of view, Marco, and then
Okay.
as we do that, then we can. And I'm sure you've already got your outline, so let's just run with what you've got, brother.
All right. So it started way before the actual Russian limited contingent, they call it, went into Afghanistan. So it actually started in April of 1978. And well, first of all, we probably need to go a little further, right? We need to go to the country of Afghanistan, how it was created as a country and existed as that entity that was created by Brits mainly. So it was created as what the Brits knew how to do the best, which is monarchy, right? It never was centralized. It was always the tribal. There were other than Pashtuns, there were Khazaris, there were Uzbeks, there were Tajiks, there were the Turkoman, Belugis, which is like nomads, all kinds of different ethnicities and tribal people that actually existed in Afghanistan. So a monarchy was kind of, if you have a support from outside, then they would exist. But soon as because really and truly Afghanistan as a country at that time was not did not have much of resources in the way of natural resources, something you can dig up and sell and stuff. So there's very limited. Some countries were interested in going and then exploring and help them out. U.S., as a matter of fact, built a beautiful a road for them in going all the way around the country, like a Highway 1, so to speak.
Yeah.
But Afghanistan played, so even early on when the Soviet Union, or like let's say Soviet Russia, came to existence after the Bolshevik Revolution, because of ties to the Russian Empire underbelly with all those stands like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, all those stands. So naturally, a newly minted Soviet country had interest in it. And they even had some military incursions in it. And I guess they were duking it out with the Brits at the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, however, the Soviets built them power stations. They built them. There were several projects that actually were going between Afghan monarchy and the Soviet Union in the way of building them stuff, and Soviets actually built a lot of stuff there. So anything from housing to, like I said, power stations, and so on and so on. However, it all came to blows in April of 1978 when I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure spurred by or encouraged by the Soviets, the monarchy fell during the April Revolution, and the government, somewhat socialist government, came into power. And as soon as they did, they start duking. It consists of several fractions, and as soon as they got to power, where there was a president and a prime minister, they were all from two different fractions, and they started to duking it out for with the for power, grabbing for power. One of them was, I forget the first name, but last name Taraki. He was the president and kind of like a Soviet lover. And there was Amin, who was the prime minister, who was basically, since he couldn't attach himself to the Soviets, he started looking for some other areas where he get the support. And a lot of people would say like, oh, he was doing this, talking to the Americans. Yes, he was. He was talking to the Americans, but not preliminary, not in any kind of final stages or anything. But the worst part was the uprising of Islamic fundamentalists in the southwest, like Peshawar, that area of Pakistan. They all start coming in and spurring the and fighting against the socialist newly socialist government. So what happened was, and they start gaining, the population was supporting them, and basically threatened the existence of a newly democratic republic of Afghanistan. So Taraki, president, travels to U.S. and he asks for military assistance in the way of the troops on the ground. 9 times, in fact, they asked. 9. And all 9 times the Politburo of Soviet Union said no. Here's more APCs, here's more tanks, here's helicopters, here's the guns up to wazoo, but no troops. And finally Taraki comes again to the Soviet Union in like a November of 79, goes back, and Amin had the palace coup. He arrests him, and then they kill him in prison. So now prime minister all of a sudden usurped the power, and at that point he was already openly inviting the U.S. and also playing footsie with the Islamic leaders of the Islamic uprising. And you have to realize that if the Islamic fundamentalists would take over, it threatens the very existence of Soviet Union because of all this stands, right? All the kin and relationships in the tribal area and all this Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, mainly those 3 republics. And to stop a spread of fundamental Islam that would threaten the Soviet regime, I guess, or Soviet system in the Central Asia, Russia finally, or Soviet Union finally made a decision to go in. And but however, they were still friendly, kind of like one of those frenemies with the Amin. They brought in the 103rd Airborne Division into Kabul Airport. That's where they built a camp, and they were stationed there as opposed to, for the preparing for joint exercise, military exercise. And then they rolled in across a couple of the bridges over Panj River on in December 1979, and then obviously under cover there was the KGB special forces like Alpha Group and specially formed Wimpel Group, and those guys uh, were already in Kabul, in the near Kabul, in the Toplistan they call it. It's like a little um, uh, like a housing project for the Soviet specialists who worked there.
Okay.
So
Was that
so
like north, south, east, west of
just
Kabul?
the outskirts of Kabul. I don't remember where in the directionally where it was,
Gotcha.
but
Somewhere
it's
in this
like
area. Yeah.
in Kabul. No, just Kabul proper. Like the city of Kabul, it was just in the outskirts. I mean, like 5 minute ride to the center.
Oh, I got you. So like closer in here. Okay.
Right.
I'm with you.
And first GRU, or the military, basically Army Spetsnaz or unit, was actually what they called a Muslim battalion, where the soldiers were transferred there, officers and soldiers from Central Asian republics, and then they were Tajiks, Uzbeks. They were dressed in the Afghan uniform, and they were dispatched to create another ring. And they looked just like an Afghani troops, to create a second inner ring for Amin Palace, where the Prime Minister Amin, the rogue, was still living. And so they came in and took positions between the Amin's like bodyguard battalion and then outer perimeter security force, and they were the inner ring, like a middle ring. And so at the same time, so Alpha was there, and then our X, or also known as Operation Grom, which means thunder, they all sprung into action. So the airborne troops had to capture like the main communication hub, like a mail television station, the post offices and radio stations and things like that. And then Alpha just roll up on their APCs. They were graciously donated to them for the good cause. They rolled him to the gates, smashed the gates. The Muslim battalion that was around, in a third ring or second ring, I guess, they neutralized the outer security force, letting the Alpha come in, Alpha and Wimpel come in, and then both turned onto the inner security ring, which they suppressed rather fast, and then it was fast operation. It was unbelievable. Some of the Alpha guy, every Alpha operator was wounded, every one of them.
Oh wow.
One dude was actually missing a hand and continued to fight. They were so they found prior to it, there was some kind of party in the diplomatic party or something in that palace, Amin's palace, and the Soviet operatives actually slipped them a poison, but it didn't kill him, but it made him sick. So Amin was in the palace somewhere in his bed, sick. And eventually the Alpha guys, once they suppressed all the security forces, they went in, found him, and shot him. And that was the famous Grom operation of Thunder that actually captured that palace.
So was that the
Heavily,
kickoff of that invasion?
Invasion was already happening. It was basically get rid of the head of a state, and so there's nobody to rally
And
around.
who did they replace him with?
Babrak Karmal was a guy.
Bob Rock Carmel. Okay.
Karmal, yeah, and yeah,
KARMAL.
not
Yeah.
yeah, Babrak, not Barack.
I mean,
Babrak Karmal, and he, just a low-level Communist Party operative. But he had the full support of Soviet Union. Of course, that nothing was done in Afghanistan without the 40th Army and then the Politburo. So the contingent of the Soviet contingent was actually a 40th Army that consisted of 2 airborne divisions, I think 2 motorized infantry divisions, and then a bunch of separate regiments like the infantry, tank, air, anti-aircraft, uh, artillery, and so on and so on. And it just so it was called the 40th Army. So it was immediately evident that there would be no flying opposition. So they actually sent the anti-aircraft batteries back packing. Just in 1980, first withdrawal. At no time, the Russian contingent or the army that was occupying Afghanistan exceeded 100,000 troops. In fact, it hovered somewhere between 50 and 70,000, and the highest, like a surge, you would say, that actually was done in 1987.
and would you say the highest concentration would be
They
around
spread out everywhere. I mean,
the
100,
entire country?
103rd Airborne Division was in far in the north west by Herat and Shandand. The other one was somewhere else. The separate regiment, 345th Regiment, was in Bagram, and at the same time, there's a main Air Force base was there. My unit, my 22nd Special Purpose Brigade was actually located in Lashkargah in Helmand Province.
And where is that related to where I'm at?
That's in the south.
I go south.
Yeah, go to the left. I mean, to see where Kandahar is. It's west of Kandahar, in the deserted area. Keep going. Lashkargah. That's Helmand Province. That's where the Marines battled.
Yeah.
And,
a lot of Americans are familiar with Bagram and the Helmand area that you're talking about.
Right. They actually were stationed at our base.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, in Kandahar, a large attachment. Jalalabad was a large detachment. That's along the just north of. Yeah, there you go. There's Lashkargah, but they have it 2 words, but it's a 1 word really. Lashkargah. There you go.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. And then Jalalabad, north of Kandahar. So if you go to my right, I guess, to Kandahar, yeah. Kandahar, go north along the Pakistani border, you'll find the Jalalabad. And then north of that, you'll find Faizabad. That's where my unit. Well, it was a separate 860th separate motorized infantry regiment. I'll go to the east of Kabul and go up, right? And go up. Stop and then make it bigger. and you should find something called Faizabad. No, I
Right.
can see.
Here it is.
There you go. So that province is called Badakhshan, really mountainous.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's
Oh,
Kokcha River right there. So we were attached to the that regiment as a enforcement. As a matter of fact, if you can really bring it up, like zoom in,
yeah, I
right?
can go. Yeah.
Yeah, zoom in. Keep going, go north a little. Go north a little. I keep on zooming in. Uh, um, well, it's too bad I can't move it, but go west. Go west. You can still see if you let's see, the follow the river. Maybe go south a little, so you could see our our base. I think this is it right here. Uh,
Right here.
yeah, yeah. See that? No, no. I gotta. Let me see if I can find it myself here.
Zoom out just a little. Here's the river.
Yeah. So let's see. Go west a little again, and then south. Let's see if I can find it. But anyway, you can see the remnants of our base there still. So I could even, you could see where the tents were, and I can even see the tent where I stayed in. That's pretty cool, actually.
You on the map that I got up?
Yeah, but it's not. Let me find it myself first,
Oh,
and then I can tell you where to go.
sure. But the tents and everything are still there, huh?
Not the tents, but like the footprint of a tent.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Okay, where are you?
I'm just north of the river on the west side.
Yeah, I found it. Okay. You're not using Google, right? Earth, you're using something else?
I don't know which one this is. They don't like to just maps. It's just called Apple Maps. I guess there's an apple right next to it. I hate Apple. You go to Google Maps.
I got the Google Earth, actually. Fudge, where is it? Yeah, Kokcha River. Let's see. Is that it?
Google Earth spinning up, baby. I haven't used Google Earth in a while.
Man, why can't I freaking find it?
What's the name of the city?
Faizabad.
It was FY.
No, I think it's shit. Faizabad right here. It's Fayzabad.
And it was over here.
Northeast. Anyway, the airstrip was across the river, but the river is easily fordable. You know,
Here's
just
Faizabad right here. There, you see it now?
Yeah, of course. I'm doing it on my iPad here.
Okay. Well, I was talking about on my screen for our viewers here.
Okay, so the airstrip, you can see an old airstrip. They have the Faizabad airport there, and I guess they all build it up now. I mean, like a few years back, I was able to see our base, but now it's like all they building up or whatever.
Yeah, built up.
Okay, well, never mind. Okay, so yeah,
Here's
we got. Yeah, that's a airstrip. The one, the kind of brown, the new one is the newly built, but the one that's kind of brown to the left of the new one, that's that's an old one, and it was the airstrip was across the river from our base,
Your base was on the west side of this river.
No, south of the airstrip.
Okay, so down here. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it's all built up now.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, that's too bad. But well, it's good for the Afghans, I guess. Oh,
I guess. I guess. You think it'd be a lot greener there than it is with that river going through there, but
nah,
it's not.
it's freaking beige. That freaking boring beige. So
Some
anyway, so yeah, that's where we were, and our radius of operation was over 100 kilometers that
okay.
we could jump in the helicopters and go, or um, they would drop us off there and kind of do whatever we got to do. But yeah, is that it? No. All right, I can't. They build up a bunch of stuff, and you could see all
So
those
what time did you enter Afghanistan?
October 13th, 1995.
October 13th, 1995?
Yeah.
Okay.
85. What did I say? 95. 85.
There you go.
85.
85. And at that point you're with the special ops, the Spetsnaz, right?
Right.
And what was your mission? What were you tasked with?
Well, as you can tell, it was really a mountainous kind of area, which means there's all kind, and it's close to a border. That area hangs right over Pakistan, and actually the little strip of land goes over Pakistan and touches China, where the Uyghurs live, and so our mission was interception of any kind of resupply caravans and convoys, and that's what we did.
So you're basically shutting down their supply lines. Is that what?
Right. That was our main
assignment.
I guess assignment. But we also, if we know if there would be a group of Mujahideen stopping by somewhere in some village for rest and stuff, we would assault them while they're at rest.
Get an additional $25 off plus 2 extra magazines when you use the code AK Corner at pioneerarmsus.com. That's Alpha, Kilo, Kilo, Oscar, Romeo, November, Echo, Romeo.
Anyway, so it's either helicopter insertion, but the helicopter, they all watching, right? So that's every one of them watching the bases and stuff, and that's constantly. So you have to be like a tricky as opposed to how would you they would look and they would sit in the mountain with binoculars and see that unit is getting loaded up in the helicopters, and then they will see which way it goes, and then they radio in. And what we had to do is we had to make feint drops, like so many places, like like 3 or 4, sometimes 5, and then after they drop us off, they'll do a couple more.
Yeah.
And so this way they conceal it this way. The other insertion was we had fobs all around in the area, the responsibility of a particular military unit, like a regiment or even battalion, and they were usually they were overseeing the area with let's say a couple of villages. They sit on top of the mountain, or some kind of route, or the official roads and stuff, and it would be manned by up to a platoon, sometimes just a squad.
Right.
and of course it's like a fortress, it's on top of all the approaches are mined and things like that. But nevertheless, they did get attacked. Every now and then a rocket or something will hit those places. But anyway, so what we would do is we would, as a rule in Afghanistan, unit traveling on the APC would be not inside. It will be traveling on the outside of the APC, sitting on the top.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because the IEDs and the direct, like RPGs hitting the armor. And if you're sitting up top, then the explosion will blow you off. Yeah, you might get bumps and bruises and maybe a broken bone or two, but you'll be alive. And if you go inside, and the explosion is, if you roll over a mine, for example, it squishes you like a sardine can,
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing goes for the RPG. The RPG with that cumulative, called the jet stream, so to speak, of flame and plasma,
Mm-hmm.
penetrates the armor, and it fills up everything with the
Phosphorus.
fire, not phosphorus, but just fireball on
Yeah.
the inside. And so anyway, what we would be doing, we would at night load up into the inside the APCs and have infantry units mounted up and do the rotation in the local fob. So they pull into a fob and they start doing their rotation and stuff, but we would slip out of the hatches and stuff and hide ourselves in the dwellings there, in the structures. And then at night we would come out and go and do it on foot to the area where we target area.
Right.
And sometimes it's 5 kilometers, sometimes it's 15 kilometers. And so we would do that. That's why I'm like people looking at the mountains nowadays, somewhere in Colorado or somewhere out west. Oh, the beautiful purple majesty. I'm
Yeah.
looking at them going, how much I gotta hump over to just crest that freaking hill.
Yeah.
And so it lost the poetry for me.
I can imagine. I can imagine why it would do that. Now, how did you prepare for this invasion, this war prior to? I mean, you guys had some experience. Soviet Union had some experience there. You kind of knew the terrain and whatnot, but
I have no idea. I
you
can
know,
only tell you what we did.
yeah. What did you do? Yeah.
Well, there was a Spetsnaz training center. They also often refer to the mountains training center, but they were like, you can't call them mountains; they're like freaking hills.
Yeah.
And it was in the city of Chirchik in Uzbekistan, just north of Tashkent, I believe. And so we were, for 3 months. We did a training there. So, and then I'm trying to find it on the map for you to kind of tell you
What's it
where
called? I'll pull it up.
Chirchik, which is CHIRCHIK.
Uzbekistan.
Yep.
Okay. It's coming up now. Let me switch my view here. Okay. I've got it up. It's a district level city in Tashkent region.
Yep.
It's northwest of Tashkent along the river Chirchik.
Chirchik. This freaking correct shit.
162,000 people. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of it looks pretty damn mountainous to me.
Nah. Where?
Over here.
Hills, yes.
Or east, I mean.
Well, just north of it, there's mountains, but that's nothing that you would, nothing compared to what it was in over the river. So
Wow. So you did 3 months in this area to kind of
yeah,
to prep you, and
yeah,
then it was like you said, it really wasn't apples to apples, but
no, it wasn't. You could see the shooting range, the test, the proofing grounds, the test and stuff. You could see the strip if you zoom in on this thing. The landing strip and the helicopter pads.
up here, okay.
Yeah, right there. See that? Yeah. And then go north of it. Go north of it. Like zoom out a little. Yeah, there you go. There's your
Gosh,
shooting range.
yeah. Okay, so this was your training ground. Okay,
Yeah, right here.
very cool.
And of course, north of it, that's the freaking hills. The hills.
Yeah, right here.
That's the
I see. Yeah, I see. We're talking about heels. Yeah, that was your berm for your shooting
yeah the
range.
berm we're gonna run over. Yeah, but nevertheless, the training was adequate. I mean, I wish that there was a little bit more like alpine style, like technical training in the
Yeah,
mountains. But other than that, it was adequate. Instructors were all freaking, um, you know, experienced, awesome guys. And of course, we trained on just about anything. Driving APCs, serving the crew served weapons, learning all about it, and
what type of explosives did you guys work with?
well, the entire nomenclature, anything
Yeah,
from anti-tank mines to like TM62s to anything to like the whole systems like a what they call the hunt is the systems like a sort of like a daisy chain,
yeah,
anti-personnel mines, Mon 50, it's like a claymore, Mon 200, which is claymore and steroids, uh, and then of course the plastide was another thing that you could we carried that with detonators and stuff so you can blow up things like a entrance to the cave or something, or just
right.
destroy something that like
Something
a
that need to be blown up.
right, right.
What type of grenades were you guys carrying with you?
The mainly is RGD5 and F1, which is the RGD5 was what they call the offensive grenade. You
Mhm.
clear stuff with it, uh, dwellings, to buildings, to um, any kind of strongholds that they build up, and then of course the F1 was is send the shrapnel pieces to 200 meters. So you better be a good thrower and then duck right under right away. And then
Carry any
towards
sort of gas grenades?
no gas grenades, but we had the smokes,
Yeah.
different colors, and flares, different colors. And towards the end of my service, like literally in the beginning, 1987, they brought up a replacement for those two old grenades. It was called RGO and RGN, and Assault O is defensive. They were a little bit more. It's got a modern fuse on it, so which you can set either for time or for impact,
Right.
which is like a little better because the old fuses was old time
So
and it's
how
always
long
set.
how long were you there in
16 months.
you were there 16 months. So when you first arrived, what was your loadout?
What do you mean?
Like your rifle, what was your kit gear that
The kit.
you went in with? Yeah.
Okay, so the rifle that I had. So obviously it was, well, mine was different, right? So because I carried a SVD rifle, so I had the pouch with 5 magazines. I had uh, I had to come up with the way to carry that pouch because it's not really conducive carrying it on your belt. And the way we carried the SVD pouch, it wasn't ideal, but we had those backpacks that called our D54 backpacks,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a metal. They had the center straps attached to shoulder straps right here in the chest with a
Right.
metal like aluminum carabiners, and you threaded that strap through the belt loops on the pouch and clipped it together. So now it hung on your chest, but it would be like flapping and stuff. So eventually, yeah, see the RD54? Yeah. And if you look at the SVD magazine pouch, yeah, so there was I was pretty nifty with the sewing. You know, I learned how to do it early on because I played hockey, and if you didn't know how to repair your gear, you'll be out of gear or
Be
looking
SO.
like an idiot. So I was pretty friendly with the needle, thread and needle, so I could make things, and I kind of did. There's this thing that's called BVD, BVD load carrying system, which is it's called the airborne loadout system. Um, it looked like a weird freaking. It is similar to what we had, right? So we had the shovel, we had the we. What was different from any other unit is we had the R40 fighting knife that was issued to us, a reconnaissance knife, and R40. And for some reason, they made such a big deal out of us having it, like we had to sign off on it and stuff, as if it was some kind of secret weapon. It was built in 19, it was designed in 1940s before the war, World War Two. Wooden handle, wooden scabbard, painted black. It's called NR40 knife.
NR40. Okay.
NR40. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. See, fighting with the knife is. Hold on just a sec.
Okay.
Maybe I can demonstrate it.
I bet you've got one, don't you? That's in your arsenal.
You a silly boy.
Got 5. What are you talking about? 1. There we go.
Lapin Lyoku. Usami knife.
So is that what everybody was issued?
No, no, no. I was just showing you.
Oh, that's a different one. Okay.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, so it's either that knife or most of the officers had this one. It was called the Cherry, and it was also a World War II knife, and you can tell the similar blades and stuff. I'll show it to you in a second. Actually, the same blades. That's
Okay.
a Cherry had the kind of universal grip. Right?
Yeah. It's like a
This
K
one,
bar, kind of K bar grip.
this one had the specific grip, and if you look at it, a lot of people grip the knife, and it's got the S guard on it. See, the
Hmm.
guard is shaped as S, letter S, and a lot of people, when you hold in a low grip, which is like this, right? For stabbing somebody. They
Right.
do it wrong. The proper way to hold it like this, because what you do is you stab and you bring it back, so the edge would cut whatever the basically stab and cut, right? Make a.
Right.
That's why the S guard is that way.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so we were issued this fighting knives. The guys that carried, I I don't remember if I was issued the actual bayonet, but I think I did. But bayonet is kind of useless unless, well, for infantry it wasn't, because it was their fighting weapon. But for us, since we had those NRs, we didn't really need anything other than that.
So how many people were in your unit?
27 people in my particular unit when we were in Faizabad.
In your specialized unit? Because you guys were a specialized unit, right?
No, we were just like a regular Spetsnaz unit. We had a battalion and brigade structure. So the brigade headquarters were in Lashkargah,
Mm-hmm.
and the battalion size units were spread out anywhere from Shindant all the way down up to Jalalabad. There were two brigades of Spetsnaz, which actually later in the war, starting in initially there was no army Spetsnaz in Afghanistan, but starting I think in 1982 they started to bring them in, and then by 1984 there were two brigades, the 15th and the 22nd, and each
And
one had
no, go
each,
ahead.
each one had a numerous battalions. I don't particularly remember how many battalions there were, but battalions then were spread in what they call groups.
Yeah. Nice. Marco's showing off his knife. He's got his
KGB.
KG. That's a KGB. Nice.
Yeah, it's what they call finca. But anyway,
So with your
so then grenade pouches, things like that, and then of course we had the body armor and the helmet that nobody ever wore unless you under rocket attack at your base. And the body armor was interesting. It was kind of like a two pieces, front and back, come back, and then you get this Velcro straps that wore out real fast, and then you put your belt through it. Well, actually, it came with the belt, but it was lost immediately because somebody would steal it, use it as a belt for their pants, and so you just thread your regular army belt and through it, and it was 7.5 kilograms,
whew,
and it was like 18 pounds almost.
yeah.
And then so he had a aramid, multi-layer aramid fabric like a Kevlar.
Yeah.
And then I had this like a system of pockets, sort of like a fish scale, of a 2 millimeter titanium plates over it. I have it, but I just don't want to freaking dig it up right now.
Well, yeah. No
But
doubt.
Lee Enfield rifle fired from, let's say 500, well, let's say 300 meters,
Yeah.
would go through it without stopping, through the body, and then bounce off a back. So it was literally a flak jacket, not a bulletproof jacket. So we not often, but almost always chose not to carry that extra 7.5 kilograms, but much rather take more
Mags.
ammunition.
Yeah, definitely. Now, with you said you were issued the Dragunov. What about what was the common rifle for your units, the Spetsnaz?
All right. So in my unit, we had, I want to say 6 or 7 AKMSs. That's a 7.62 guns, the AKMs underfolders.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to address a myth.
Ah.
So AKMSs, and then the majority of it was the AKS-74, the folder, the skeletonized folder.
Mm-hmm.
So all this freaking know-all internet fucking commandos um, constantly saying, in Afghanistan, Spetsnaz will throw their AK-74s and pick up AKMs. First of all, if you throw your gun away, if you're in a real unit, you would probably most likely do about 3 years in the freaking disciplinary battalion or just prison. The serial number
Major
of the
no-no.
right, the serial number of your weapon is written to your military ID, and with the stamps and signatures of person who issued it to you, and then when you turn it in, they will write that it's been turned in and put another signature and the stamp on it. So you couldn't just throw your gun away and pick up another one. AK-74 is by far better gun. That's what in the environment that we operate in, because not too many obstacles to sway the trajectory of a bullet or whatever. We could carry 30% more weight because that's what it was, the reduction of 30%.
Lighter. Yeah.
That's freaking huge. More ammunition, uh, more accurate, and for average person, that is.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why we had the 7.62 guns is because we used them with PBS-1 silencers. Because you can't silence, at that time, you couldn't silence well, you still can't. The high impulse, the high speed, high velocity 5.05 round. So 7.62 on the other hand had a special round. I forgot the SP1 or whatever it was called. That was reduced speed round. That made that gun quiet, really quiet. And I have it right now. And I can tell you that is just maybe, I don't know how many dBs, 5 dBs over the Hollywood quiet, which is fake. Right? So,
Yeah, Hollywood's fake. We all know. Yeah, Hollywood's full of
right.
shit.
But this gun is, it will compete with 300 Blackout with a decent can. So that's the only reason for 7.62. We also were issued, everyone was issued with Makarov pistol.
Okay.
Well, except few people like me, for example. I was issued with that thing, Stechkin, as my personal defense weapon. And but all the other ones were issued, and I remember I was already with Makarov. When I was in already my second year of service and stuff, and we got our new greenhorns that came in as replacements for the guys that were already discharged. And I remember us packing up for the raid, and I don't remember what kind of raid, whatever. The way that it's done, the unit is lined up on the parade ground or somewhere in front of the barrack, and all of your shit is laid out on your half shelter poncho. The stuff that you take in your gun, your ammo, magazines, your load bearing rig, all the stuff like rations, whatever, your toiletries, everything you can, grenades, extra explosives and stuff. Because when the unit carries all this stuff, it has to be equally, apart from your personal shit, you have to carry some unit stuff. You know, like extra belts from the machine gunners. If your unit is armed with um, let's say automatic grenade launchers, so extra belts, and so on and so on. extra explosives, mines, whatever. So yeah. So stop right there. Don't go anywhere. Stop right there.
Okay.
So the and so this kid has got his Makarov pistol that he's packing into his backpack, and my CO comes and says, "What you got there?" And goes, "Oh, I got my Makarov. I'm putting Makarov in." He goes, he grabs it out of his hand and goes, "Oh, PM63 Makarov. Oh, 54. I'm sorry, PM54 Makarov. Fine weapon, reliability par none. Oh, excellent weapon." And then he kind of hands it to him and says, "Make sure you only load one round in it." And the kid goes, "Why, sir?" He goes, "Because it's the greatest gun for suicide, so they don't take you alive." He says, "Get rid of it." And so God forbid I see it again.
Yeah.
He was so confused.
Replace that with some actual right.
Magazine, so ammo or some shit. Additional. You carry like 2 kilograms of that crap. You can have like 3 mags, or maybe 100 rounds of ammo. That would be a lot more useful for anything we did. We did carry the sidearms though, and the one that's on your screen right now is called PB, a pistol silenced, based on Makarov system, but it's a lot different. It's not to be mistaken with Makarov. It's permanently suppressed pistol, so most of our officers and NCOs carried those things, and they were pretty handy when during like assaults on the strongholds, where we would take out sentries, dogs, and what another one is. Oh, by the way, you were showing me. That's what I was issued. Yes.
The Stitchkin.
Yep, Stechkin, which is Stechkin is a select fire pistol, and this hunk of a holster serves as a short buttstock that you clip to a back strip of your pistol. And I can tell you, I never used it in anger, but yeah, I was the most popular guy at the range, though. Everybody wanted to shoot it. And on a regular basis, I would take down human-sized silhouettes at the ranges of 200 and 250 meters with that pistol, with the short bursts.
Oh, wow.
Very manageable, shooting 9x18 Makarov, and excellent gun. We had a young lieutenant came in as a head of a subgroup, I think like assault fire group or whatever, and he was issued with the one with the same one, but older version. They had a wooden stock, like a Mauser C96 wooden thing.
Okay.
And mine was relatively kind of new, and I had that Bakelite. And the fucker would not leave me alone. Give it to me, give it. Let's trade, blah, 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 blah. And so no, 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 no. And then eventually, when I actually joined the assault group and had to surrender my SVD and Stechkin in favor of AKS 74, the very next day, that fucker was walking around the base with my gun. But anyway, so we carried those. We also, there's another version of Stechkin, and it was called APS.
The APS. Okay.
Right. And it's literally automatic pistol suppressed.
I think I got a picture of it right here. Let me pull it up.
Nope, that's Stechkin. That's
not it.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say? APS is automatic. Never mind. APS is automatic pistol stitchkin. PBS. I'm sorry,
PBS. Okay.
PBS.
Let me see if I can find that one. There's an APB.
Oh, maybe APB. 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 Automatic pistol silence. That's right. APB.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you
Let's
pull that one up? So it was issued. It's basically a Stitchkin with, with the longer barrel. So you would attach the suppressor, silencer, and then
yeah.
instead of the wooden stock, you had this wire stock that
Yeah.
was actually attached to the the suppressor was resting in, and then the whole thing was issued in this like a leather holster.
Okay. Were you ever issued one of those?
No, but we had NCOs and I think one or two officers that carried those, and they would. But I got to shoot it, and we get to because the once you get to the targeted area, then in the spot the commander of the group has a full authority as to who as far as like assigning the missions to every trooper,
Mm-hmm.
and he would often maybe take a better shot, somebody that is a good shot, and he'll give him the sniper rifle. Says, I want you to sit right there and watch for this. Or he wants the assaulter guys, like send 3 guys to take the point guard out quietly, and each one of them will have those things. So all the weapons we carried were a UNICEF weapons, and we were all cross trained at it.
So that's
Here,
the APB there.
hang on. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And then let
So,
me see your picture.
so here's the comparison. What comparison Makarov to Stitchkin, right? And let's see. PB, APB. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, here.
Now, what magazine are you referring to there, Marco?
That's a Treasury, again, or Shotgun News for I forgot which year, but it's all right. So
You're
here's the holster.
Oh yeah, okay. The leather holster that you were talking about.
Yeah, and here's the dude without the stock. He's holding it.
With that
And here, that's, I think it's, yeah.
up there, yeah. Very cool.
And let's see if I have a picture of.
Were those
Picture.
were those strictly semi or were they full?
No, they were select fire.
Okay, they were just like the Stitchkin.
Yeah, so there's like a really um, good story in the one of the raids that we had. We had to capture what they call a tongue, right? Translate as a tongue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like tongue. Basically, a prisoner for collecting the information. We needed to confirm information, so they sent us out to get one. And the worst part about it was the where we had to get them. It was a road, kind of was hogging. It's the road between 2 villages, and it was kind of hogging a mountain. And there's like an irrigation ditch running on both sides of the road, and there's no way to conceal a unit the next to the mountainside.
Right.
However, on the other side were a bunch of fields, like farming fields, and the farm itself, the dwelling, it was all bombed out and already destroyed. Just portions of the walls left, maybe one or two windows, holes left, and like a little courtyard, which also the walls were already penetrated and compromised, and there was just remnants of it sticking out. Really, kind of this beige pile of shit bricks.
Shit bricks.
Well, that's what they make them out of.
Yeah.
Shit, shit and sticks.
Dung bricks.
Anyway, and so we used in like pre-dawn hours. We used and it was the dwelling, former dwelling, was set back from the road. Like I don't exactly remember anymore. It's like how far. Let's say if I had to guesstimate, somewhere between 75 and 100 meters, maybe a little closer, like 50 to 100 meters, somewhere in between, to the road. But needless to say, we would conceal a small size unit, like maybe 7 people, the most, because everything else, if you bring more people in, then it would be visible that there's just not too many places to conceal. And so the decision was made once we looked at the aerial pictures. We we were made a decision that that's going to be our main ambush site. And once we got there, so we left most of the group in there. So the fields are usually surrounded by irrigation ditches, right? So what they do is once they divert the water from the local river and it fills up during their, for the watering, all those ditches filled up for watering purposes. But that farm was not active anymore. It was just shit grown on it.
Yeah.
And we used the ditches kind of to advance. And
easy for cover.
Yeah, so majority of the unit remained there as a backup, as a fire support and stuff. We had the machine gunners there set up and, made up their positions and sniper fire. And I was selected because, I guess I was a good shot at one point.
You're being modest. Come on, Marco.
I was selected to actually go to that dwelling and conceal ourselves for the ambush. And the idea was to make sure it's a Muj, right? Not some kind of poor Afghan.
Yeah, civilian. Yeah.
Right. And so once we got there, we found out that there was a pipe, like a corrugated metal pipe buried in the road to connect the outer irrigation ditch with the rest of the field, right? So it was like a meter in diameter, like 3 feet, a little over 3 feet. So the couple guys was sent over there to basically be the not the assault group, but a capture group, right, to grab the guy.
Yeah.
And and rest of us all of us had suppressed or silenced weapons, right? So, and because I carried Stashkin, I had the APB. The rest of there's several APBs. The guys at the ditch had the PBs, those Makarov based silenced pistols, and the rest had the AKMs with the PBS-1 silencers. And by the way, this is see that shit that the guys are wearing, like load bearing stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's called the airborne load bearing system. That's the one I was telling you about.
Okay.
So I had one of those that I had to like take the refashion it with the thread and needle, and it was picture like modern over the head kind of plate carriers or body armor that had to first you have to attach your back to your gut, right, with the Velcro, and
Yeah.
and then you attach the front with the buckles. Well, instead of Velcro and buckles, there's a bunch of like a little cotton like strips of like straps that you have to tie with the bunny ears on.
Like a string.
Oh yeah, yeah, when you look at it, you're going like, what the fuck? Where do I start? With this thing. But nevertheless, I do have it, and it's uh,
But it's
yeah,
fashioned.
once you figure, yeah, if you refashion it, get rid of some that it still only had pockets for 3 magazines. But picture regular like a jeans type fabric, the material. It
Yeah,
wasn't like nylon or cardura or something. It had no shape. It was like a shirt or something. So obviously, if you can look at the pockets, right, they all kind of hanging down, weighted down.
saggy. Yeah.
Yeah, and they only had the pockets for 3 magazines.
Oh wow.
And
Is
the
this the one
but
where you're saying they would try to stretch it out to
no, not
get?
this one. The Chinese ones, the Chicom ones.
I got you. Got you.
So
So
this
you're
one's
assaulting this. Oh, what do you? Wait a minute. You
this
marking.
one.
John here with Mission First Tactical. Today, we have an exciting new product to announce, the Mission First Tactical Leather Hybrid Holster. We've combined the classic aesthetics and comfort of full-grain leather with the durability and functionality of modern kydex. Let's take a closer look at this innovative holster and talk about its benefits. We start the leather hybrid process with our original handmade kydex design. The inner shell provides our famous audible click and keeps your firearm in place with a robust anchored retention that will not loosen or fall out over time. A great benefit of having the kydex inner is that this holster will not collapse in on itself like a traditional leather holster will. This can be extremely dangerous, as it can cause a snag point on your firearm's trigger. With a solid, dependable kydex foundation in place, we then merge the outer layer with beautiful full-grain leather. No matter your carry preference, this thing is comfy. No more sharp corners or abrasive, raw kydex rubbing against your side or your skin. The leather is soft and provides a nice barrier against you and your body. Let's go over some of the other features. A low-profile belt clip provides a quick yet secure way to attach your holster. With the turn of a screw, adjustable cant up to 15 degrees allows you to dial in the perfect angle for your draw. Left or right-handed? No problem. Ambidextrous design allows you to easily switch which side the belt clip goes on and your preference of carry. We've included a tall sight channel that allows suppressor height sights to clear your draw. Additionally, we set the holsters up to accommodate common red dot sights. Let's review the different ways you can carry your firearm with the hybrid leather holster. Inside the waistband at 3 o'clock, appendix, 5 o'clock, or outside the waistband. Carrying a firearm is a big responsibility, and your right as a law-abiding American. Mission First Tactical's leather hybrid holsters are designed with comfort, safety, and performance in mind. We use the best materials and equipment available, and everything is handcrafted right here at our facility in Horsham, Pennsylvania.
Mission First Tactical is the official tactical accessories provider for the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code LEADHEAD for an exclusive 20% discount on all orders.
Anyway, so yeah, and needless to say, I mean, the whole sequence of events, I actually recalled it in that article, but like right now, I can't recall. But basically, there was a guy on a bicycle that the dudes in the pipe, hit and killed. So they had to drag the bicycle and the dude and the body of the guy into that pipe. Basically,
Or was that by accident?
What's that?
Was that intentional or was that by accident? Did they take him out so he wouldn't reveal their position?
Right. So he was running at that point away, and they had to get him.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, position would be revealed.
The goal was to try to get somebody alive, right? So you could get some.
Right. They weren't correct, but they couldn't grab him. He was too strong or something, or they were.
He was fast.
Or he was fast, right? And so they got him. They dragged basically before it was over, before we actually took a light one. the pipe was jam packed with the bodies of other mooch that they couldn't capture. But needless to say, so they did send in. So we let once we saw the like a legitimate um, mooch patrol, so to speak. Usually they don't go by themselves. If it's a farmer, he would be like pushing some kind of cart, right? And these two dudes were just walking and no guns because they were going to say, "Oh, we're just farmers," And we let them go through so they would reach the next village and we'll report saying, "Yeah, the road is clear, no Shuravi present." That's what they call the Shuravi. And and after that they start sending all those the bicycler, then another two guys, and so on and so on. And eventually a tractor pulling a trailer full of these freaking guys came in.
Wow.
So even though we already had our live guy in the pipe with a bunch of dead ones, we couldn't disengage and disappear without. Yeah, there you go. so and we couldn't disappear, so we had to kind of hunker down and wait until it starts like kind of dusking and stuff, so we could make our escape. And all and all of a sudden we see the tractor with those fuckers. And at that
All
point,
armed up to the teeth.
what's that? Oh yeah, they all had the guns and stuff, and we just opened up on them, and it was so close, and it's full automatic fire, and it's suppressed. And I remember like the setting sun from away from the mountain. It was like the rays of sun was kind of going through the window openings and stuff, and it's kind of like a ray of sun is penetrating the dwelling, and all that dust and shit created by full automatic fire, and all these casings hitting the walls and stuff. And because there's no, it was very very suppressed. Soviet suppressed stuff worked really good. And the one guy managed to squeeze run round, the mooch.
Yeah. He got one round off.
Just that was it. And
Wow.
it just tractor kind of rolled into the
They're like 10, 15.
opposite side irrigation ditch and toppled over, and the trailer with it. So we just went in and finished them off if there's any. So, and at that point, we just got the dude from the pipe with the troops and rejoined the main force, and kind of like boogied down for the next for the hills on the opposite side of the farm. And then our rear guard then followed us, and that was it. But yes, there were like a four APBs used at that point, the pistols, in that engagement. But at that point, once you attach the stock to it and that long silencer, it kind of becomes sort of like carbine, and it is in full auto, and you just keep on firing at the short burst, and
What
because
kind of weapons did the Mooj have?
majority of it was like the Chinese Type 56s, and there were a couple Lee Enfields
Okay.
that Pakistani, I guess, or Indian manufacturer or whatever.
That seemed to be the majority of what they were carrying.
Well, not those fighting units. Fighting units would.
Well, I mean, just a group that you encountered at that
Oh
point.
yeah. Majority were the AKs, but I guess they were all the way we hit them. I think the tractor driver kind of got it first, and at that point it was already kind of rolling off the road into a ditch, and some of these fuckers were probably thinking, holy shit, I mean, what do I do? Do I return fire, or do I kind of save myself?
Right.
And but at that point, at that thickness of fire, and just
overwhelmed them.
yeah, one guy squeezed around, but I'm thinking it was more like a uh, and like pre-dying convulsions.
Convulsions. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway,
So that was a good story. Thank you for sharing that.
well, it's written in detail that 10 years ago or whatever, 12 years ago. My memory was a little
You actually
better.
wrote about that.
Yeah, it's
Is that
it's
in
an
the Shotgun
so
News in those articles?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That series of articles, every one of them has a story, either
Yeah.
my personal experience or uh, the story that the unit that we're attached with, and we participated not as a main force,
Yeah.
but as a backup or reinforcement.
Anybody's interested, Marco did find um, an old copy of the Shotgun News, a couple of their annuals. They do like a end of year annual, and they'll put a conglomerate of the years.
They call it Treasury Edition.
Treasury, their treasury. Hold that up, Marco, so they can see it. And you might be able to find it on eBay or somewhere on their interwebs if you're interested in maybe going and get a hard copy of that. That's the 12,
Right, that's the one that's got the guns of Spetsnaz.
the guns of
And this,
Spencer.
the, right, and this one right here is the 13. You
Yeah.
can actually, there's two of them on eBay right now, and that one's got guns of Afghan opposition. But it's also it actually written from point of view of capturing some of the trophies off of the mooch and what we encountered,
Yeah.
which is like a fruit salad thing. But
A little bit of everything because they're just picking up stuff. They're getting stuff sent to them from whoever, and they're just using whatever. So talk about, a little bit about that, the variety of firearms that you were in opposition of.
I mean, the main one was, of course, the AKs of variants. They also, they were good. Those the two main ones.
Yeah.
So they were early on. They were ambushing some of the convoys, the Soviet convoys. Well, they preferred to hit the nationals. We call them Greens, the National Army, Afghan National Army, because that would be easy. They would either surrender immediately or run away and drop everything. So they were resupplying themselves with, the weapons at their expense, at the Afghan National Army expense.
Which was fighting with you guys, right?
Yeah, on our side. Well, we were on their side.
You were supplying them, I would assume, with the firearms.
You meaning like Soviet Union?
Soviet Union, yeah.
Yeah. So the majority were like AKMs and stuff like that. Rarely they would get the AK-74s.
Yeah.
And everything to go with it, like RPGs and.
That's how a lot of them got. The arsenal was, like you said, resupplying from those units that they would hit.
I didn't understand your question.
No, again, talking to the wide variety of firearms that the Muj had, they would get. The reason that they had the Russian and the AK.
Okay, let me clear something here. They didn't have a majority of Russian stuff. It's occasionally that you encounter maybe AK-74. In Panjshir Valley, where Ahmad Shah Massoud was operating, who was Tajik, not Pushtun, and there were like 8 army operations actually launched by the Russians, or the Soviets, I should say, to destroy or capture them. And any garrison that was, like especially Rucha garrison, were under siege the entire freaking 9 years. I mean, the guy knew how to. He knew how to fight. I mean, yeah, they took on massive casualties, but it seems like people flunked to him anyway. So he would have the successful ambushes on like even Soviet convoys, and his main force, like his bodyguards, they all had 74s.
Yeah.
And the ultimate asshole, Osama bin Laden, right? He was with always photographs of the AKSU.
Yeah.
But that he says he took it off a dead general. Yeah, right. Uh, General, or maybe a tank commander. That's who carried those. But in any case, so majority of their guns, if it's pertaining to AK style guns, were Chinese. Okay.
Sure. And you may have misunderstood what I said. I said the majority of the Russian ones that they had. That's how they came across them. Not saying that that's the majority of weapons that they had. I'm just saying.
Right, it's ambushes and stuff. But
Yeah.
even the Greens were supplied with the meaning the National Army also carried Chinese weapons. So
it's
starting at in 1980, once the dust settled out after initial uh, um, invasion, the CIA with a couple of the ultimate assholes who deceased now, and I don't speak poorly of bad people, but this ones were, and it's Zbigniew Brzezinski and what's the other senator Democrat Charlie something rather from
Wilson.
Yeah. So
Charlie
they created a program backed by CIA to supply these assholes with everything they need. And of course, they wouldn't just have the container ships leave freaking Baltimore and then dock somewhere in Karachi. They sourced it locally, what was available, and it was, obviously the Pakis and their ISI, I think is their intelligence service, were helping them out and buying shit from Chinese, and I think the Pakis themselves were making the Lee Enfield type weapons, and they supplied those, and of course they captured bunch of guns from the Afghan National Army. But the funny thing is, there were a lot of World War II shit too, like PPSHs and
Right.
Degtярov, DPs 27s and shit, uh, and other
drum.
stuff.
Did they have the drum
So
mag?
they had the disc magazine, like the
Yeah.
Stalin's record player type of deal. So yeah, that's the majority. And then a variety of pistols. Oh, they also had like some rare guns like Martini Henrys and
Really?
labels and all kinds of fucking things that you put one round in, lock the breech, fire, then open the breech, put another round in.
Right.
And also there was some what we often refer to as karamultuk, which is made up name, karamultuk. But it's like the Persian version of like flintlock. But it's all like decorated. They were, I guess,
Like ceremonial kind of bullshit.
not no, it's just saying that my dick is 1/16 of an inch longer than yours type of deal.
I got you.
Which usually works in reverse, but the more decorated your gun is, the shorter dick I guess you have. But kind of like a Corvette thing. So anyway, and they also decorated their own their own guns. I mean the Lee Enfields and AKs. There's all kinds of shit. There's like, instead of sling, there would be some kind of rope tied with the tassels and shit. everywhere. And for some reason, they had the endless supply of this semi-transparent green tape. And they would tape everything from handguards to freaking pistol grips to stocks, everything. And all kinds of like little, like religious pictures and shit like that. So they're kind of funny too.
I'm trying to find a picture of one. I can't find, but yeah, I mean, you see them all the time.
Well, it's in my article, so if you want to see it, although it's black and white.
Well, Mark, I'm thinking of our video audience right now, but if you want to hold it up, I'll show it. But
It's black and white. You can't really tell. Hang on a second. I'm just trying to get you something.
so, well, we're talking small arms here too, but how much of the rocket propelled grenades and things like that did you guys encounter?
A lot. But the biggest thing that we would, hang on just a second. Oh, never mind. Okay, so the biggest thing we would encounter is those Chinese freaking rockets, and they not precise or precision gun. They just like they just lob them, and what they do is they make like two sticks, like they make a bipod out of sticks, and then they lay them on in like some kind of basic Pushtun tribal ballistic calculation, and like the battery on them, that would be like sometimes we came across they already preset. It would be like 12 of them, and they all pointed towards our base or Soviet base or Afghan base. And the idea was like spray them and pray them, so to speak, and hoping that out of 12, 2 or 3 will hit in the base. So there was no precise aiming, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Hang on a second. Let me find something here.
Our audience, I'm just throwing up some random pictures here of different launchers that they may have used. And I was trying to find some of those decorated. Here's one that's semi, I guess, decorated. It's hard to see that one. It's a small picture. He's got like a sticker on the butt stock. Got stuff.
Yeah. There you go. That's exactly what I was talking about. Then I see the green tape too.
Yeah, and the green tape up on the gas tube, probably because it's falling apart.
So let's see. I found a bunch of pictures, but again, they
old flintlocks.
They black and whites. Okay. Yeah, they're black and white mostly. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, green tape.
Yeah, I think most of our listeners know what you're talking about. We've seen a lot of.
How do I share a screen?
So down at the bottom it says present. You see where it says present?
Yep.
Click
that.
Yeah,
that's that one right there. Skaramultuk.
Yeah.
So share screen. Okay. Screen is easiest with 2 monitors. Yeah, whatever. Share screen.
Click on the screen you want to share there, and then I can add it up here and then show everybody.
That one. Share.
All right.
So, so you could see the variety of
all the different
Lee Enfields, and then there's some like a single shot shotgun.
Yeah.
So Lee Enfields, which looks like a mixture of number 1 Mark 3 or 4 and number 4 Mark 1. There's a jungle carbine right here. It looks like a 16 millimeter mortar or some shit.
Yeah, some big ass mortar.
This is more of like a Soviet style. So this are deshkas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Oh,
RPKs and then AKs. So
like
the RPK, AK, and deshkas were produced by Chinese. But you could see the Maxim here. It's not Russian because Russian would have a cap right here to use the snow once
cool it.
all your
All your wonders go. Yeah.
and this is
Is it a
Chaf or something like that, like French or Belgian machine gun. There we go.
there it is.
DP27 and number one Mark III. Okay,
you-
so
Soviet was using all these weapons.
what do you mean using?
I mean, not the so these were used during the Soviet-Afghan War. These weapons were
By the Afghans, yeah.
by the Afghans, right?
There's good old M16 A1. Here's the MP5. Again, bunch of dashkas, 60 millimeter mortars. There's recoilless rifle, probably SP9. There's KP TV, like something that 14.5 millimeter, probably anti-aircraft automatic. I guess it's a machine gun. And
Yeah.
then some of the AKs right here, and then Lee Enfields, PPSH.
PSA.
Chinese version of RPG. This is number four. Number four. Number four Mark One. The guy took the RPG sight right here and then kind of put it for the picture. Right.
That's funny.
Again, the troops with number one Mark III. And probably Giver. No, this is Mosin Nagant. And this right here is something else. I can't even tell. Oh, that's Martini Henry, I think.
Is it a shotgun?
No, it's a, Oh, look.
Hey, there's a silencer, suppressor.
Right, it's PBS1, but look what's right here. It's the
Garand?
M1 Garand.
Yeah. Look at that.
I
wonder who supplied those.
I don't know. I don't remember when they made them, or where they made them. This M16, of course, probably from like Indonesia or Philippines or some shit. Okay, here's a good picture. There's Mosin Nagant M44 carbine, folding bayonet.
Yeah, there's a PP.
Either Chinese or Europeans. Again, DP27, PPSH. We're all could have been all Chinese. Yeah, them. That's that. Isn't that brand?
The top loading Bren.
Or it's one of those Czech ones.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Look at that fucking thing. I forgot the name of this. Then you got the M3 grease gun. SKS, it looks like. Chinese. They got PPSH and it looks like Soviet AKMs.
Did you run across any of these?
Any of which ones? Grease gun? Definitely no. SKSs a lot.
No, look at my screen. Look at our screen.
Oh, caramel tux, yeah.
These are like the design ones you're talking about, how they design them.
Yeah. Some That's old man on a freaking in a donkey would be
single shot flint.
Yeah. Well, it's a flintlock. So here's another MP5. Oh,
now,
by the way,
different as far as how people are dressed. Talk about the climate and the weather that you guys had to deal with during your time.
In the mountains, it's really, it's hot in the daytime and it's cold at nighttime once the sun sets. So you have to be careful as to how you would dress. Also, you had when you're at base and you have your garrison uniform, which is, has some resemblance of actual issue uniform,
Right.
but mostly for comfort. And you have to put on like the official uniform if you have to go to HQ or something like this, or move around the base. But if you just kind of R&R and then you're tent or pulling maintenance or something, helping the guys with the motor pool or whatnot, you wear something different like utilities. And for for your raids and stuff, so you gotta dress properly. You usually get your combat uniforms, some kind of camouflage overalls, and definitely your warm stuff like the warm jacket. So you could see, right? So this dude right here in the striped sleeveless airborne type shirt, we had those too.
Yeah.
And no sleeves, right? And he's got his flak jacket that I was telling you about, the 7.5 kilograms on. He's got his circa 1928 Soviet Panama hat, right? The brim hat. But look what's on the APC. You got the warm jacket on the APC there.
Because it gets
And
cold.
yeah, because once the sun sets, you're cold. This dude right here is walking around in KZS camo outfit, like they call it a birch design or whatever. Over here they call it a pixel design, but it's dark green with kind of yellow splashes.
Standard camo for the over there, or did you use
Yeah,
different?
yeah. That would be it's amazingly effective in the green environment. But then after a month or so, it'll bleach out, and it would be amazing. But it's made out of mesh. It's like a
Yeah.
cheesecloth, actually. That's why a lot of officers and stuff prefer to walk in that thing, because it was just, um, you know, uh,
It airs you
any
out.
breeze would
Yeah.
go through it and stuff. So he has also Panama hat, but there's a way to roll your brim up and stuff, sort of make it look like a cowboy hat almost.
Right.
So right here we have also, the guys with the Mosin Nagant sniper rifle. Most likely it's the infantry dudes. You could see the pattern, camo pattern. It's also
Yeah.
MASH KZS, I
It's
think.
like that one that I had that you said was a knockoff.
Right.
Still the
Exactly.
mesh, like potato sack kind of
Right.
material. Yeah.
But this is regular infantry garrison uniform, right there. This guy's got the old style cap, garrison cap, and this dude's got the Panama hats, and they got the regular infantry boots, not a paratrooper boots.
And was that standard to tuck them into the boots like that?
Tuck them in, or like this guy's over the boots, just because they got the knees bent. It kind of pulls it back. Yeah, it's usually the uniform. If you're in the parade grounds and units are presenting, then they have to tuck them in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. Leanfield decorated. One of those caramel tooks, the flintlock ones. Warren to a shine. AK. Also another Chinese underfolder AK. I don't even know what that is.
Is that a side
What?
fed? Is that a magazine sticking out the right side of it there? Or is that just the
Where?
wall? I can't tell.
Where? Right here?
Yeah, on that
No, it's just oh, by the. Oh no, it's a Leanfield,
oh, okay.
but
It's hard to see, it's so small.
it's short. It looks like the stock's been shortened, and then just the barrel sticks out.
Okay. Gotcha.
Here's
There's some
so the happy officer corps right here, because they captured, probably assaulted a stronghold and captured cache, and you got 120 millimeter mortar shells. You got a recoilless rifle, ammo, and then you got your RPG-7 stuff.
Those
And then,
caches would get captured like that. Do they destroy it?
it depends on how big of a unit is and how much assets they have. If they do have APCs or helicopter and stuff, they will load the samples on, and if it's a small unit, then blow everything up.
Yeah.
If they have a truck, they might call a truck from a local base, like I wouldn't say RBN, but Afghan National Army truck or something, or the Soviet truck from a local base, and come and get it.
Yeah.
Depending on how big of a unit this is. So right here, this is what I wore for the most part. It's called Gorka, or mountain uniform. These hats that they wear right here, it's a part of this uniform. It's made out of wool, like a coarse wool, and it's worn. It's like balaclava. You can wear it like balaclava, or wear it as a beanie under your helmet. But this uniform right here is awesome. It's also circa 1930s or something. And I remember teaching a sniper class in Kansas, and it was from the morning and on. It was just pissing rain, and the students brought in all that extreme weather Gore-Tex shit. Right? They all put it on, and I had my Gorka. Like I said, circa 1930s, and I was the only dry guy. That thing, all that Gore-Tex through the seams and everything, and just got them all soaking wet. And I remember David Fortier coming up to me and says, "What the fuck is this? Where did you get it?" And he went and got one for himself as well. So this is your typical garrison uniform here. That's what you were issued to walk around in the garrison. So again, those are the Chinese rockets right there. See them? There's recoilless gun and SP9 and ammunition for it. So here's one of these Toyota Simorgs pickup trucks captured with Deshka mounted on the top. And it looks like an officer's that's major. I can't tell what this guy is, captain or something. And there's a big cheese right here with the AKSU.
What kind of armored vehicles did you? I mean, were they mainly like pickup trucks converted type deal, or did you actually run into?
No. They immediately get destroyed by either the air power, or artillery, or RPG, or RPG 18. We carried a lot of those with us, like a tube, like you pop up, put it on the shoulder, push the button type of deal. They would immediately be, because you had to train on the APC. Not any fucking tractor driver would drive it.
It's like seasoning a cast iron skillet. Use it that few times and it builds up in there. Our product, CLP Plus, is a bio-based, non-toxic, complete gun care. Your cleaning time will be reduced by over 50%. I like to say it's a clean shoot for it to fully remove whatever product you've had on there before. It's like seasoning a cast iron skillet. So all I like to do is you'll field strip it like this, go piece by piece. Basically all I do, I'll take the nylon brush into the paste, and you start covering. Come back, clean each piece, and then even on the handles, on the outside and on the inside. With our product, you wipe it all off. You don't leave any on there. From grains and all, stick it in. It's safe on all metals, plastics, composites, wood, rubber, leather. I just use a nylon brush and then a bore jag with one of our pre-saturated patches. You put it in, swipe, coming back, you can see what it's pulled out. And this was a brand new firearm. With our product, you're malfunctions from carbon buildup are virtually eliminated because carbon will not be building up. There's nothing to stick to. And all of our product is USA source and made. Grab the microfiber cloth and back and you'll wipe it off, and you'll wipe all the product off now. There you go. It's that simple.
Seal One is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code Leadhead for a 25% off discount.
Talk about the air support that you guys, no, I say you guys, the Soviets had while you were over there. Did they have jets? Was there any kind of air-to-air combat? Because I wouldn't think.
No, there was no air-to-air combat. There was a couple times that a frontline bomber, like a equivalent of the A-10, Soviet Sukhoi 25, ventured over the border in Pakistan and got shot down by Paki's F-16s.
Yeah.
And one guy managed to get shot twice. And then Russia had to like ask Pakistan to return the fighter. I mean the pilot. And one guy was shot down twice. But other than that, nah, Afghans had nothing. But this dude right here is dressed in overalls that you carry with you and like could put over your uniform. Obviously, he using it as his uniform. This is called KLMK, which is it's a light cotton material, but it's a solid material, and you could see how it's liberally cut, so you can put it over your uniform if you have to. And it's funny because he has a general belt that issued to generals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he has like a low suspended, which looks like a Nagant revolver, which I guarantee he captured it off of a dead mooch and kept it for himself.
A little trophy action.
And of course, there's Martini Henry right there. Pile of shit, and then he's got PPSH posing with it. So you got another one of those. Then you got a interesting thing. This is Lee Enfield jungle carbine. Then this dude is holding that sub gun. I think it's Swedish if I'm not mistaken. And this dude has got didn't get the gun, but he got the recoilless rifle round. So posing. And they all officers too. This is I don't know why it's in the trophy, but it's the infantry unit being resupplied at one of the FOBs, forward operating bases. And you can see that's the machine gunner, PKM machine gunner. Also got that flak jacket. I told you about those Velcro strips that fucking wore out immediately. Mm-hmm. And this guy has an RPK. It's for those who said that they would drop their RPK and pick up a PKM or whatever. RPK is an awesome gun in fire support role. Another M16. Oh, this is an interesting picture. So this is an AKM, right?
Yeah.
With the 1 PN. I want to say either 34 or 58 or something. I have both of them actually.
The night vision?
The night vision scope, excellent device. Bulky, yes, but it worked at the time. It worked excellent. And of course, PBS-1 silencer. But this dude right here also has a grenade launcher, which would not work with the PBS. Interference.
On there.
Right, so you have to. It's sort of like take either rosary or your underwear off.
Now look at the camo he's got.
Yeah, that's what your fake one was. That KZS,
because it looks more like a nighttime.
And both of those guys, one is maybe newer than the other. That's why it's a little darker.
Faded.
But
Okay.
but they came in different shades. Also, note the sneakers instead of the boots. It's a lot easier and safer to use the sneakers rather than boots. when you're hopping from one um,
Rock.
rock to another. Yeah,
Yeah. When you're on those
Mm,
mountains.
right. So those are Toyota Simorgs. They used by Muj. It's probably the Russians dragged them into base after an ambush. Uh,
An interesting.
that's a brand I think right here, and then you got your number 4 um, Mark 1 or whatever, 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then you got the Chinese on the folder, and amongst others. So you got the note how the AKs and AKMs, AK rifles are piled in one side, and then Lee fills into another.
We got
Most
so
of these guns were turned to the local
gotcha.
forces.
Go back to that one picture that you were just on, and talk about the uniforms that these guys are wearing. They got the hats.
These guys, most likely infantry again. Um, you can just look for the combined IQ there. That's written on their faces. But also the uniform is, you know, the parents would send them like warm sweaters and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which they would ask, and they would use them under
They could
the uniform jackets.
use them that way. Okay.
I don't even know what the fuck this guy is wearing on his feet. Oh, see the regular infantry boots there, like old style infantry boots. So most likely these guys were in support of the ambush or whatever, and were lucky enough to knock down a convoy. And because that's why they got a picture with all that shit that they captured. But the way that they dressed suggests that the infantry and they like the FOB occupiers,
Right.
guys that spend their times.
Let's do this, Marco. Let's. I want you to expound on this question I'm getting ready to ask you, and then we'll go to listener questions, and then we'll answer listener questions, and then do our big
Sure.
giveaway we're going to do. So, you said you were issued when you first got there. You were with the Dragunov. You're a sniper.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Look what these guys have.
Holy shit.
Called Stingers. So Jalalabad, Spetsnaz unit actually captured those fuckers, and they captured them early on. They captured them in 1986, actually, and there's a whole story attached to it.
Well, let's hear it. I think that'd probably be more interesting than what I was going to ask you.
Well, there was an order. So all of these guys you see in the background, all Spetsnaz guys. But the hats that they wearing as regular issue hats, not the Spetsnaz Mabudo. This is a Spetsnaz issue uniform. It's like usually a jumping uniform. All of these guys got that Gorka uniform on, and as you can see, the officers wearing sneakers, and even some of the troops wearing sneakers. And they got the night. Those radio stations for group operators. They only work on receiving, not on transmitting. So to receive orders from the CEO when you're in the raid. So this guy's holding the battery. Battery only lasts 45 seconds, by the way. So if you can lock on to a target, that's it. You're out of luck. And that was the biggest complaint among Mujahideens, is because the Stinger. And when they say Stinger changed the freaking, it broke the back of the bear. It changed the way that the war was fought and bullshit. Only about roughly 6% of hits on the aircraft were by Stinger, and it's either big transport or slow flying helicopters, and majority of those were able to be landed and then repaired and fight again. So the biggest problem with this, with all these fucking deshkas on every top of the mountain that fire and knock down the either helicopter or whatever, or plane. So it wasn't really that effective, but it was like a wow wonder weapon, you know.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the story with that is there was an order issued that the unit that who would capture the first one intact, because there were pipes actually were being issued. I mean captured already at the time, but they say the unit which captures the first Stinger, all unit will be awarded a Hero of Soviet Union, sort of like a equivalent of Congressional Medal of Honor. And when it actually happened, the unit, the commander of the unit was an awesome officer, like Spetsnaz through and through, kind of. But they found out he had all kinds of disciplinary things. So no, he's not worthy. Then they start looking who else. Then they found the guy who actually was supervisor over the group and operation. And they looked into him, and he was being divorced from his wife because he cheated on her. So he's not worthy. Then he's basically, eventually, now they started to look at the helicopter pilots that were providing the cover, air support. And they eventually awarded one of the helicopter's second pilot Medal of Honor, so to speak, for this operation, although he himself had nothing to do with it. So that's the funny story.
All right. I was going to ask you about as your role as a sniper there, the terrain and everything that you had to deal with. What was your biggest challenge as a sniper?
Well, the big help that I encountered with the SVD rifle is its PSO1 scope, because it's already had a built-in range finder, right? So if you knew it's optical one, so if you knew how to use it, you could estimate the range and then the dials on the turret and the vertical corrections turret were already done in 100-meter increments. So you see that it's 300 meters, or let's say 400 meters, and you just click to number 4, point and shoot. And which made a job of a sniper really, easy once you conquer the whole thing, right? Once you make it yours, sort of own it. And so the biggest problem with the mountain stuff, let's say if you decide that you're a freaking Rambo and you don't need to do any kind of estimations and stuff, and it's easy to fall into a trap, because mountains, they fool you, because it looks a lot closer than they actually are. And also you got to realize they coned, so right, so the higher it is, the further away from you it is.
Right.
So the distance estimation is the major thing and the biggest challenge in with the sniper. Now you got to realize that this one shot one kill type of deal is that they trained here in the US for bolt type guns is not what the modern battlefield requires.
Right.
It's not, you don't have 3 days time to crawl with your fingertips to get to the position wearing the bush-like ghillie suit, and then wait for 2 more days for a VIP target and then take them out. And then you have to crawl out the same way. No, you at ambush, you provide a fire support
Yeah.
role, and your role is to knock down any kind of cruiser weapons, any freaking RPGs, any
Mortars.
pockets of resistance, or stop the vehicle from moving, and things like that. And oftentimes you engage across the entire engagement area, as wide as it could be, wide as a kilometer or more, and also the distance is a lot greater, like 400 up to 500 meters away from actual engagement area. And you would be you'll be looking through that scope, and you'll be that's why 2200 power scopes would not work in that situation. You need the practical, a low power
Yeah.
scopes, like per se,
10.
not 10. Come on, PSO was 4 power, and at the distances up to, let's say, 400, it was 500 was adequate to actually point and shoot, and get your target. So, but in that scenario, you have a wide field of view. You know what I'm saying? Much wider than it would be 9 power or whatever. So you can engage multiple targets and just start taking them out. But like I said, the estimation
So the distance was the biggest
challenge. Yeah.
challenge for snipers over there. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to listener questions now.
Okay.
And as we go through these, obviously, if there's something that you want to, if it brings up a point that you want to elaborate on, for the history during that war, then feel free to do that.
Right. Do you see my screen right now?
Let me put it up there. I'd taken it off. There we go. Okay, yeah. Explain that.
All right. So most
you?
likely, no. Those two.
Oh, let me ask you this before I forget, because I've been wanting to ask you this. As you go through these historical pictures and you pull things up, have you ever found a picture of you?
Yes, several times.
Have you really?
Yeah. So this is the officers. Most likely, it's like a recon unit from either attached to airborne or, let's see, most likely airborne unit. And so you can tell by type of uniform here, and you could see that they got sleeping bags behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So they would most likely be going on ambush. So also folding stocks that tells you that it's airborne troops, and also the backpacks that they're carrying, which is the RD-54s. And you could see an early Soviet design chest rig with the buttons right here with snaps.
The snaps.
This one and this one is hard to tell. It could be Chicom, or it could be the same thing.
Is that a 45 round Bakelite he's got in his?
Both of them do, yeah. Which means they took their machine gunner in their units, because those are officers here.
Yeah.
And ordered them to surrender his 45s to them. You have, if you were an RPK guy, RPK 74 gunner, you better freaking go to sleep with your issued 5 magazines, or they will be stolen immediately.
As we see here.
Yeah. All right, so I'm
all
ready.
Right. First question. I guess this is a comment. Might have a question in here. Pasture Thug. The last trip over to Afghanistan, I worked with the local security group, the ASG. Their commander carried an AK variant in 5.56 that was also a grenade launcher. Do you have an idea what that could be? I don't remember it having a launcher tube.
Oh yeah, there's two AK regular AK grenade launchers that were used. One was used in Afghanistan, and then there's a newer version of it already after it was adopted after I already left the service.
Yeah.
One was called GP25. That's the one that was used in Afghanistan. I might even have one here somewhere.
I bet you do.
I'm not sure if it's there, but anyway, GP25 that would attach to a bayonet log and then to a AKM rifle, and then you had the later you had the GP30, which is the improved version of GP25. Both of them worked excellent, actually. And then the GP30 would attach. That's when the newer AK had the two logs, the bayonet log and the accessory log. Or like you see it in the picture in the upper corner there. That's a GP25. The difference between the two, see, that's GP25's got that frame that goes around the handrail. I mean, handguard. And the GP30 had this like a sort of like the pistol, if you can call it pistol grip. The grip actually had a molded part of it that actually was interacting with the you know, you got to be careful when you show these pictures. A lot of the shit is airsoft.
Yeah,
So
that's why I'm relying on you to tell me what's.
that right there is some fake fucking gun. You know, it's not real. So go down, go down. Yeah, there you go. So that's 25. See, you got that metal aluminum thing that hugs the hugs the. It's also not legitimate gun either, so you know, because the legitimate gun would have been in purple or that plum color, not black, right? With the fixed stock.
So he's talking about a 5.56. This guy had a 5.56, is what he's saying.
Yeah, so it would be a most likely a folder, side folder, because if it's Russian produced, it's called AK-101. And they also, I believe, they build a factory in Indonesia to produce those guns.
Okay.
So it's either it's either GP25 or GP30. Both of those will mount on any of the AKs.
Next question, Gerald Link. Marco, what was your favorite weapon in Afghanistan? Did you carry a pistol? If so, what was it? We talked about that. How many old bolt actions did you take away from the Mooj? Did you find their crops of rocks interesting to see?
All right. Okay, so I'm going to answer the first one about my favorite. Obviously, SVD. I loved it. I love that rifle. I carry that love for that gun to this day. I have two. I love to shoot them every now and then. I've written numerous articles about them. That's my favorite. And of course, we talked about a pistol. Yes, I did have a pistol when I carried an SVD, and it was a Stitchkin. It was, automatic Stitchkin pistol. And I had to surrender it as my PPW. I had to surrender it once I was transferred to an assaulter group and was issued with brand new, still in freaking factory grease AKS 74 side folder. And actually mine was AKS N. He had the rail actually. And which is my second favorite gun, and it's still, out of all the fighting carbines, I believe that AK-74 is the greatest gun ever designed, produced by human race. So unless aliens land and introduce us to some new gun, then I might change my mind. But right, so the bolt guns, they were everywhere, and it's anything from Chinese or Soviet manufacture Mosin guns to a largely available Lee Infields, the Mark ones and Mark four, number ones and number fours, and um, occasional Mauser here and there. A lot of bolt guns,
Yeah.
and um, so interesting in cropping rocks. Really early on, we talked about how I changed my mind about the majesty of the mountains and stuff that people see. Oh, look at those things. They're so beautiful, the mountains. I'm looking at them going, fucking things. I wish they weren't there. I wish I didn't have to climb them. And I'm looking to what's the easiest way to approach it? Where's the easiest one to breach the
Yeah.
crest it and stuff and so on and so on. So I am sure. I guess I never seen it myself, but some people did, and there was no major battles going on. There's a province of Bamiyan, and they had those large Buddhas carved into the mountainside,
Huh.
and that was unreal, just unreal. And of course, once the Taliban took over, they used those as artillery practice, just to deface them, just to get the human face off of those statues. But the majority of it is still there. So I guess that would be the most interesting rock incropping that was in Afghanistan.
Chemo Sabi 75. Back to the Stechkin APS machine pistol. What is the intended place for this 20-round fire spitter? It seems like this would be difficult to use effectively, and there would be better choices than this reloading training tool. I think that was a joke, but
Okay, so
an instance where you used it very effectively. You gave that story.
well, those APB, right? Now the Stishkin itself with the stock attached is basically a 9mm carbine.
Have you got yours over there? You had it over there earlier. You got it put up already? Okay, never mind.
And it's effective carbine. Like I said, I never had to use mine in anger. I had it in my backpack, ready to go. It has 20-round magazine, and it's issued with 5 of them. Okay, so it's extremely controllable. I mean, the recoil is not even, it's negligible at best. So it has a selector type the sight, and like I said, I was on regular basis at the range, was knocking the human sized silhouettes, which is reduced obviously silhouettes, on regular basis at ranges of 200 and 250 meters. So if obviously you're not going to be trying to knock out an enemy convoy from 500 meters away using Stishkin, but anything within 200 meters, this is like a fighting carbine. It's like what about MP5, for example? That's 9mm, being used in a police environment, right? Operations and some maybe a covert operations as well. So it's kind of the same way. Now, what was the initial use of this? The tank crews, the artillery crews, like the the aircraft bailout kit.
Yeah.
And it was then substituted with the introduction of AKSU 74. So all those Stishkins that all the tank crews carried now were armed with the shorties, with the AK shorties, and the reason for that is because the commonality with the ammo, magazines, and accessories and all that stuff. So, needless to say, the Russian stockpiles of Stechkins grew tremendously. It was made available for special operations units.
All right. Next question. Jerry Black, Marco, do you believe the collapse of the USSR was directly related to the Afghan war, financially, politically, and through morale of the citizens?
No, absolutely not. Afghan war was just a periphery. Like I said, there was only 100,000 people in it at any given time, right? And the Soviet Union was 330 million, I believe, at the time. The collapse of the Soviet Union was once the perestroika and glasnost were introduced by Gorby, who looked like he dreamed of a closer relationship with the West and better trading opportunities.
With Margaret Thatcher in particular.
Thatcher, Reagan at the time, and you
Yeah.
know all those guys. But you got to realize that the ultimate goal of the United States has always been is destruction of Russia. It doesn't matter what kind of if the Tsar was still there, it still will be under pressure from the United States. Modern Russia, that has nothing to do with the commies, right? It's a modern market-driven society, free of all kinds of I don't know how would you define the freedom, like freedom of speech and stuff. You can go and speak your mind in there, as opposed to in the United States. Look at Scott Ritter, being raided by FBI. And look at Tulsi Gabbard is now in the list of
Look at
surveillance
Donald
list.
Trump.
Yeah, so
Raided House.
so it's the goal of the United States government, not of the people, because they don't ask us, right? But the goal of the United States government, and it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat, is destruction of Russia. Reason for that is because of its resources. So they want to break it up. It's sort of like dividi, e impair, right? That's what Latin, the Romans said, divide and conquer type of deal.
Yeah.
So, and it's been the number one goal of the United States government. So, also, another thing you gotta realize that the Soviet Union existed under tremendous sanctions, economic sanctions, right, from the beginning, and they still traded because the 13% of United States oil imported was actually provided by Soviet Union. So and so on and so on. So I wouldn't. I would say probably the economic part was a large one, but the majority of it was covered operations on the national levels, especially starting in the Baltics, that all those agents of influence spurred by a certain country in the West Hemisphere, as well as its vassals in the Western Hemisphere, along with its vassals in the Old World that speak similar language. Basically spurred up any kind of nationalistic movements, and it started in Baltic states, and then there was pulling of a blanket between Gorbachev and Yeltsin. And the biggest thing is the myth that is perpetrated and laid and introduced to people in those countries, that the myth is like introduced through the cartoons, the TV shows, the movies, and saying like, look how the West lives, right? And if you guys, change your regime, that's how you're going to live. Which is total bullshit. I mean, look at Bulgaria as one of the poorest freaking countries in the EU. Look at freaking any of them. Look at the fucking Baltic states. They give them maybe 10 more years and they'll be completely dead, all of them. And it's the countries that produced automobiles, electronics, and so on and so on. Bulgaria was like literally was a vegetable patch of the world. Had a nuclear power station that was completely independent of energy. Now it has to import it from France or whatever, whoever operates the power station. The EU forced them to close those, and so on and so on. So that if you destroy the system, and by the way, I'm not a big fan of Soviet system anyway, but I'm looking at it as a realist and telling you the truth. So whenever you have an idea, like as soon as you topple your system, then you start living like a freaking retiree in Hamburg or somewhere in Hessen or in Amsterdam or some shit like that. That doesn't work that way. You destroy your system, everything collapses. The first thing collapses is the economic portion of it. And I think that's the what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
The numerous the components that came into
Components.
created co-influence, I'm thinking. But anyway, so they created the perfect storm for Soviet Union to disintegrate. And the Soviet Union, again, Soviet Union fell apart, not necessarily as the countries still existed. The three countries that actually destroyed the Soviet Union was Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine. And Russia and Belarus are now back together. And Ukraine has become a dumbassery of the level God. So, which is being played by the others. And, as a puppet and wasting its population and its... anyway, I don't want to talk about it. But
you're going too deep. You're going deeper than he wanted you to go. But
right.
that's
But what I'm saying is it's a combination of several factors, and not without external help. That's what.
In other words,
that's what
the Afghan
disintegrated.
conflict was not directly related to the fall of
No.
Soviet.
Because you got to realize at that point in I want to say 1987, the Security Council and the UN already negotiated withdrawal of Russian forces. In 1987, Soviet Union introduced this thing called Afghanization, and Babrak Karmal, like the useless puppet, was removed, and the guy named Najibullah came to power, and he started to negotiating peace deals with some of the Mujahideen, bringing them in, not the radical ones, but the ones that could be reasoned with. His policies made it possible for Afghanistan, Democratic Republic of Afghanistan, DRA, actually outlasting Soviet Union by 3 years. So no, the Russia, I forgot, it was Geneva Accord, I'm thinking, where they agreed to a gradual withdrawal and drawback, and it was done according to the plan. There were UN inspectors along the routes and stuff and the bases, and the first units departing the Afghanistan and turning over their bases to the National Army, which of course, we might as well throw it away. But anyway, it started in 1987, so 2 years before the war was over. And I mean, in the beginning of 1989, all of it was gone. All the lost troops left. Period. So Soviet Union disintegrated at the end of 1991, almost 3 years after that. And then the Afghanistan Unity Coalition of government collapsed in 1993 when Taliban came and took over. Not a Taliban, but the United, whatever, Mujahideen took power, and then Taliban, of course, beat them. But needless to say, they captured Najibullah, cut
Whatever
off his
was
cut off his penis, hung him upside down in Kabul,
Okay.
and shoved a bunch of Afghanis into his mouth.
The Firebird M50 targets are a new, low-noise version of our popular 50 bio-detonating target. M50 targets are self-contained, pyrotechnic, reactive targets that are legal, safe, and easy to transport. Use the exclusive code TL15 for 15% off all orders at firebirdtargets.com. Firebird Targets is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
We're going to go to the next question. Mustang Perry, were there any accessories used by either side that may have given an advantage? Sights, lights, gear, etc.
Yeah, of course. It's obviously we look now at the Afghan war after 30 years past or more even, and it looks like an old ship that that now with the PVSs and whatever the other the advancements in the night vision and the thermal and stuff, it might look to us, if we look back, it might look to us as ancient stuff, but it was adequately supplied and used. So the 40th Army, the Soviet 40th Army, was adequately supplied with the night vision scopes, with the other things, even some advanced mining, systems.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, absolutely. Afghans might have captured some of those and used, but not on a large scale. It was more of a like opportunity, grab it if you have an opportunity type of deal. But yeah, night vision was big deal. Communication was big deal. It was kind of onset of precision guided stuff deployed by the Russians. But like I said, it's everything that was we had a technological advantage
Higher
over.
level of technology that prevailed there.
Mm.
The dude grows fire. What kind of sniper rifles were used by the enemy?
They captured Dragonovs. They had the Mosin Nagans, 9130 PUs. There was some made in some freaking barn type of shit with the wire, tied to rifles with the wire, some kind of scope. There was, that kind of stuff. Nothing like a Arctic Warfare International or anything like that. It was all either old Soviet stuff or newer Soviet stuff. But I can tell you right now, and maybe Afghan vets who've been there, Mujahideen not a good shot type of person. It's spraying full automatic gun at someone about 10 feet would probably good chance of that person will survive with the minor extremity wounds. I mean, they're not really a precise marksman per se. Like for example, any organized military would train their soldiers to shoot first, would train them, take them to ranges. These guys, I don't know, but everybody remembers that the fortress scenes where they was uprising and they captured the Mujahideen on onset of the U.S. invasion. That fortress that was run by CIA with the Northern Alliance, and then they captured a bunch of Mujahideen where they got that American guy. Remember him? All long hair and shit. Anyway,
Yeah. Was it Bird? When Bird was it?
something like that. Anyway, the uprising, they managed to capture the armory and then kind of took the fortress, and then the U.S. had to bring the JDAM or some shit on them. But you could see them shooting at each other about 10 feet away.
And missing.
Missing. Yeah.
Nicholas
So,
Flanap says, I'm going to cut down to this for fun. Why did the Afghans refer to the 5.45 as the poison bullet? And why did NATO never adopt similar bullet designs to make the 5.56 more effective on the battlefield?
okay. So, first of all, I guess you have to answer it from the back to the front. So, first of all, the 5.05 existence is owed to 5.56 round. However, instead of just because in Vietnam War it was effective, and the Soviets, when the Vietnamese passed on the captured M16s and a bunch of 5.56 ammo, the Soviets went like, interesting. And they immediately saw the advantage of the sub-caliber round and a low impulse, high velocity. But instead of just copying it, they went, because they have scientists upon scientists and engineers and all that stuff. Actually, it was a lady who designed that particular round, the 5.05. So instead of capturing, not capturing just copying it, they went their own route and designed their own sub-caliber, which, by the way, was genius design. The bullet was to account for lack of a large wound channel and lack of large energy transfer on the impact. They design it so that the internal components of the bullet will shift, and the external components of the bullet will deform, creating a tumbling effect and a yaw effect, which made that bullet really, really effective. And the reason for the Afghans calling it the wasp, they call it bee sting, they call it poison bullet, because that bullet, upon entering the body, right, creates a very tiny wound channel. I mean, the hole, right? And then it does the majority of the damage inside the body. So you would think, so you'd see, and then come out of improbable places. Like we had one guy shot an abdomen and it came out under his clavicle going the other way.
Oh, shit.
I mean, the way it came. We had one dude also shot in the chest, bounce off, broke a few ribs, bounce off, and come out of the neck right here, making a big laceration. It wasn't even looking like a bullet wound. The guy was, when I saw him, he was just standing there smoking a cigarette.
Oh,
I halfway waited for that smoke come out of that hole, but it didn't. Anyway, but what I'm saying is that in appearance, the wound appears very small, but what happens on the inside, which it creates like an inch diameter type of wound channel plus the cavitation and whatnot. And so that's why they call it poison bullet, is because tiny little hole, but the person most likely will not survive.
Gotcha. All right, next question. You knew this was coming. So B. Hurst, 87.
No bullpups, not one. Not a single one. I didn't encounter any.
He's like, Marco, how long were you there? Which we discussed that was 18 months,
16.
16 months. What was the strangest weapon you've witnessed? And oh yes, bullpups. They had them. Yes.
No, they did not have them, and nobody had them. Nobody had the bullpups. The strangest ones probably would be like those what I call karamultuks.
Yeah.
Those weird Persian flintlocks.
Yeah, those big, long, like 90 feet long.
Yeah, those stocks are designed they're not 90. I mean,
they're long.
5 foot, maybe 5.5 feet. But the biggest thing is the stocks that they had on it. That's not for putting it against your shoulder. It's for putting it under your arm. That's why they were curved this way, right? Weird as shit. I don't know. I was really surprised to see him in the battlefield. So they weren't really used in battle. I think they were captured mostly off of some old man and a donkey.
Some sharecropper.
Yeah. Yeah, then like back his grandfather in 1896 was a big dick in the village.
Yeah. These things right here.
Yeah.
Trying to find like here's like a sample of different sizes pistols. There's a
blunderbuss.
Blunderbuss, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. So all right, there's our B. Hurst bullpup question. We had to get that in. Wouldn't have been a show without that. We'll do a couple more and then we'll go to our winner. There's a lot of questions here. P-Man 301, what is the Dark Horse best small arms used in Afghanistan? I mean, is there a weapon that isn't well known but was very effective or just a little weird that Marco liked? Not really.
I mean, like small arms?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking of something bigger, then yeah, throw it out there. But yeah, whatever first thing comes to mind there. Anything that was maybe underestimated that was effective and worked well that maybe you weren't expecting to, or
yeah, shoulder held. Well, it's classified as a flamethrower.
Oh shit!
But it's a shoulder held, like a anti-tank type of device. It's basically a tube. They came in 2 tubes. One was just a chemical shit, and the other one was actually explosive. And it was a thermobaric. So it's probably about 3 feet long, maybe 7 to 8 inch in diameter. It's got a flippable handle which you hold, and you fire it off your shoulder. And what happens is that thing was it basically has a double canister inside the projectile, and the first one is filled up with some flammable material. So it was called RPO Shmel. Shmel means Shmel in Russian means a bumblebee.
RPO or LPO?
R.
RPO. Okay, here's an LPO. See if I can find it. RPO.
Shmel. SHMEL.
S. So any of those look like it?
Hang on. Let me see if I can find it.
This looks like it right here.
Yeah, there you go. This thing right here with camouflaged one. Yeah, that's it. So that fucker will do. It would. So it was effective against any kind of enclosures, especially uh, caves. So if you fire a round into that cave, the first canister will burst and fill in the space with vapor, flammable vapor. And then the second, the tandem round will explode that or light it up. So it creates a thermobaric effect. So it basically burns everything in the inside and it creates a vacuum, like momentarily. So those were awesome things, and they still being used and built and used. And I don't think U.S. even have anything close to it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with anything like that. That's cool. P Man Ray O'Shield says, just great podcast. Thanks, Ray. Her CG23, can't wait for another awesome AK corner. Now I need a question. Well, you didn't ask one. I think that's pretty much, we've covered most of these. We've answered this in a past episode, and I think he's just being a smartass here. But Flood asked, are Kyber Pass AKs real, or are they just as mythical as a functioning AK bullpup? I think that's just a jab at B. Hurst there.
It's okay. So Hyperpass is some shit that's sort of in the realm of Krinkov, right? It's entirely created in the United States by some gunsmiths who start putting skeletonized stocks that were available with the in the 90s and early 2000s with the influx of Bulgarian kits and shit. And they start putting those skeletonized side folders on AKMs or 7.62 guns, which did not exist in nature, period, anywhere, unless maybe some guy somewhere in Peshawar, in one of his those multiple gun making shops, attached one somehow from damaged AK-74 to AKM, but as a designed, specifically a purpose designed weapon, it never existed anywhere. And since geography overall in the United States is not taught to children in school as it should be, so therefore Hyperpass is what they heard about. That's the major crossing between Afghanistan and Pakistan. And so they give it a name like Peshawar Hyperpass gun because it was like existed only there. But in reality, it's an American thing. It's sort of like the same thing with the Krinkov, because some dude from Soldier of Fortune magazine couldn't remember the shit from a fly on the wall when he visited and spoke to some mujahideen who called the Kalashnikov guns, like AK guns, they call them Kulakov. So to average American, Krinkov, I don't remember what he said. I call it Krinkov. And then he written a fucking article in 1982, I believe, calling a KSU Krinkov. Krinkov doesn't make any fucking sense in Russian or any other language. So that's how that myth started. And then the same shit with the Hyperpass. But it's basically AKM with the side folding stock AK-74 style. AKS 74 style. But it never was built by anyone other than individual gunsmiths.
There you go. So just as like a unicorn, like a bullpup, so is the Kyber Pass.
I mean, I should maybe clarify.
No,
I'm not against accessorizing a case, do it. There's so many accessories available, including folding stocks and stuff. I happen to love the side folding stock of AK-74 style stock. And no, my raving just now was actually about that not being the production gun anywhere. It's entirely gunsmith one-off type of deal that
Yeah.
some other gunsmiths replicated.
You were
That's what I'm
perfectly clear about that. You were perfectly clear about that. All right. Good questions. Great questions. Like I said, we got a lot more questions here too, but we're not going to be able to get to all of them. We got to give some stuff away here and get on out of here because we're headed to Knoxville. We got to get ready to head to Knoxville. And what are you holding up there, Marco? You got some medals. Are those from Afghanistan?
Yes, this is a Red Star order. Usually, it's a highest combat order issued to enlisted man for under fire, only in combat. The other one in the middle is to the this one right here is to the Warrior Internationalist. It's also awarded for particular feat, but it was widely available. The blue one right here with the blue ribbon right here is called from the grateful Afghan people. It also was awarded to soldiers with the who I guess distinguished themselves. The one in the middle is just my graduation pin. You get that when you graduate from engineering school.
Looks like a
And
Masonic pin.
and the three in the bottom is just like a anniversary type of medals. One of them is something from Afghanistan. I don't even know how I wind up with that. The other one was 10 years anniversary of pulling out of or ending Afghan war, and the one with the multiple stripes
The other direction.
was to a war soldier internationalist.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
I don't wear
Marco's fruit salad there.
right. I don't wear any of those. Well, if I was still living in Russia, I would probably wear my Red Star on occasions, and the soldier internationalist and the
Now, I
grateful Afghan people.
somewhere that they have reunions still for soldiers that fought in the.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And do you attend any of those? Do you go
No,
to?
I don't. They unfortunately, and strangely enough, they don't have them in the United States.
Hmm.
So I don't I don't go there for reunions. I do keep in touch with a couple of the guys from the unit. Um, my CEO is dead, died a few years back. The other one that we really liked was a group commander. Stepped in the mine and lost a foot.
Oh goodness.
Was and he passed away too, not that long ago. Another officer was in Sakhalin, island of Sakhalin in the Far East, there by Japan. He made a life for himself there, and I mean that kind of stuff. But not. I don't particularly go to reunions. I don't dwell in that stuff. I mean, I do have my cartoons in my head every day. It's impossible to forget. But the sanity and insanity of a war veteran is literally balances on ability to manage your cartoons.
Yeah.
If you can manage them, you're sane. If you can't,
Well, let's manage some sanity for our listeners here, and let's give them some free shit, Marco. So
let's do it because I gotta go soon.
give
In
one of
2
you
minutes.
winners is going to win this for Mission First Tactical. This is our AK Corner Season 6 dump tray. So we're going to award that now, and I'm just going to do a random number generator here between our listeners. We'll do between 1 and 30. Plug that in. Generate. And number 4. So I'm just going to go through And it's not how I read them, but how I'm going to organize. I'm going to do like most recent. 1, 2, 3. Guns, Oil, and Dirt. We didn't read his. His question was, with all the different types of rifles used, how do they keep magazines organized? Were they completely interchangeable, or was it a guessing game the whole time?
Is he talking about AK mags?
Probably. I would assume that's what he's talking about. Yeah, the different types, all the different AKs that were being used over there.
Just AK mags, especially the Bakelites, the metal ones, they'll be inserted. They could be inserted in any AK style rifle. It's all the onset of a Tapco, Pro Gun, this and that, Magpul and shit, where you have to use a file or something to try to fit them in. But those military guns, whether they were Chinese or whatever, I mean, they work perfectly good. The more mags you could capture of a dead guy, the better it is. However, in my case, or in our unit's case, we did have some 7.62 guns, and of course we would keep the magazines from captured guns, but not too many 505 at the time.
All right, next giveaway is going to be the SEAL 1 complete gun care cleaning kit. And I've got a story with the SEAL 1. I mean, you hear us talk about it a lot, and you've heard us talk about when Dwight's been on. He's got this SIG that he keeps in an aquarium. If you go to any of the shows, he's always got his SIG in an aquarium, underwater, submerged, and he's been doing that for I don't know how many years now, and it never has any rust on it because he treated it with the SEAL 1 prior to. Well, I was doing some. I think I mentioned this earlier, or I don't know if we were off air or whatever, but I had dropped this in my pool. I was doing some photos with it. I dropped it in the pool, and the first thing that I do when I get a new gun is I'll usually go ahead and just treat it with the SEAL 1, inside and out, top to bottom. And I did this one, thank goodness, because I dropped it in the pool, and it was, underwater, submerged for at least 2 minutes. And I just dried it off, and I've not seen any evidence of any rust on it to this point. So,
what were you doing? What were you doing for 2 minutes? It took you that long to organize to rescue your gun?
I didn't realize it fell in.
Oh.
I wasn't paying attention. Plus, I had a couple of. But anyway, SEAL 1 and done. Complete gun care kit. And I'm going to do another random number generator. And number 14. Okay. The dude grows fire. What kind of sniper rifles were used by the enemy? So we answered that one already. So you guys email me talkingled@gmail.com and let me know what you won. And we're going to need your address too. And now for our Pioneer Arms Corps giveaway. And oh, by the way, as far as I know, that code is still active. AK Corner, you get $25, an additional $25 off any firearm you purchase from Pioneer Arms at their website. So you have to use this code. It's only good at their website, $25 off, plus you get 2 extra magazines, and that's on any of their firearms that they have. Get them while they're in stock. Last time I checked, it looked like they had replenished, and they had quite a bit. They don't have the Hell Puppies on there yet, but as CJ said, if you send them a message and just ask them, sometimes they may not have it up there, or they may have one line around that they could consider it a blemish or whatever and sell you, because they can only sell the blemishes. Because you can go to Classic, you can go to what's that other company you can get the Atlantic is the other one. So, but as of this email or this show, here's what he's got in stock. I'm showing our listeners here. He's got a Grom 556 polymer and wood 5.56s. Here's a 7.62 polymer. He's got an underfolder Grom.
Marty,
Yeah.
I might have to bow out a little earlier right now and before the major giveaways and stuff because I got to run.
This is it. This is the last giveaway right here. We're not giving away a gun today. We're going to give away a Pioneer Arms hat, patch, and T-shirt. And of course, we did that in an episode before, and CJ retroactively gave somebody a gun. But as of right now, that's what we're giving away from Pioneer Arms Corps. And it's going to be a random number generator too. But I just wanted to show everybody real quick because I think some of you don't realize that you can go to their website and you can buy these guns. And
All
this
right,
is
Marty, I got to go, man. Good luck to somebody who's going to get the T-shirt and stuff from Pioneer. Marco's signing out. I got to run, dude. Sorry.
get those groundhogs, Marco.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
So Marco is out of here. So you guys make sure you go to the website. You check all this out. Because you never know what they're going to have in stock. So they're always updating their website. But they've got 5.56 Sporter. So that's the full-size rifle in polymer. Looks like they've got a wood one, 5.56. Here's a 22. So you guys heard us talk about the 22. So they got a 22 trainer, $550, and that's before the discount. And they have the Cordova set up now too, so you can set up payments and do monthly payments with the Cordova. So very cool. They're making it easy, making it affordable for you lead heads to get into one of the best AKs that is on the market today with Pioneer Arms Corps. So today's going to be the hat, patch, and T-shirt. And we're just going to do another random number generator here. And it's 22. And that is... Oh, I lost my screen. There we go. Smartphones. Looks like that is Nikolai Abplanap. So Nikolai, he had a couple of questions on there. But I was only counting you guys one time. You get one entry. And no matter how many questions you put on there. So, but Nikolai, you have won the hat, patch, and shirt. Email me, talkingledgmail.com. All you winners, tell me what you won. And I need your shipping address. And then if there's a shirt or something, tell me your shirt size. I'm going to need that. So Marco had to run, but make sure you guys go check out Amazon. Marco's book, one of his books is the AK-47 Survival and Evolution of the World's Most Prolific Gun. It's a detailed, deep history of the AK-47 variants, accessories. You're really going to enjoy it. A lot of pictures and a lot of information. And then, like we were saying earlier, too, those old articles that he did. If you want to do like a search on eBay or just Google it for that old Shotgun News and get a whole thing of his articles, or you can go to their website, which it is Firearms News Now is the name of it. And just in their search, type in Marco, Marco Vorobiev, and he's got a ton of articles that they've archived on their website there. I don't know if all the Soviet-Afghan war articles are there, but there's a lot of them on there. So really appreciate all you lead heads tuning in each and every month, all your participation when we do our questions and our giveaways. Next month, again, September, we're going to be giving away that Hell Puppy Pro with all the accessories that I told you about earlier. I gave you the questions that you're going to have to answer. You're going to email those to this email address right here, talkingledgmail.com. Use the subject that I told you to use. And then everybody who submits that is going to be eligible. You got to have the right answers, and then we'll do a random kind of pick on that too. So that's it for the August edition of the Talking Lead AK Corner. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have suggestions or topics you want us to cover, email me, talkinglet@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. PM me on the Instagrams. We're making posts on there. As you're listening to this, we're probably in Knoxville at the Gun Owners of America event. So be watching our social medias on there. We're doing a giveaway there with Firebird targets and Air Force air guns. Giving away a really nice, like $800 air rifle and a big bunch of Firebird targets. It's going to be a good time. Flood's going to be there. Mission First Tactical is going to be there. I don't know if SEAL One's going to be there or not, but use these discount codes that we give you. If you're not using them, then they're going to go away. We're going to lose them. Kel-Tec, the discount code, and you guys have been using that quite a bit, and they have phased that one out. So that code is no longer good. We're working on getting another code for Kel-Tec so that you guys can get those accessories and non-firearms related stuff. Get a discount on those. But really appreciate you supporting Mission First Tactical. Use the code LEADHEAD, get 20% off there. SEAL One, use the code LEADHEAD, get 25% off anything at SEAL One. And then, of course, at Pioneer Arms, use the code AK-Corner, get an additional $25 off. They're already marked down on their firearms, 2 extra mags, and you can make a payment plan. You put on a payment plan with their Cordova there. So, guys, I love you. I appreciate it. Look forward to next month for the big Hell Puppy giveaway from Pioneer Arms US. But until the next time, I look forward to hearing from you guys, seeing your comments and interaction on the social medias. So, out.
But wait, there's more.
And doing all that shit. We had a Soviet Wrestling Federation and FILA Federation signage on our walls, as well as a Soviet Judo Federation and International Judo Federation. But
I'm not arguing with you on your logic in it, but it is considered, Sambo is considered a martial art.
No, it's not. It's a wrestling.
It's considered a martial art, though. If you look
Sambo, somebody did the Wikipedia shit recently. IGF, International Judo Federation.
Yeah, well, they've lumped it in with the martial arts. I guess they're calling wrestling martial arts these days.
They meaning people who don't have a fucking an idea what they're talking about.
Dissemination. Yeah, I get it.
Russian Sambo Federation.
Yeah, considered a martial art.
Latvian Flying Cross, 3rd degree.
What is that? Latvian. Oh, I wasn't looking at my camera.
U.S. Olympic Committee.
Nice.
Latvian,
are you watching the Olympics at all, Marco?
Well, obviously, as a young guy, as a part of the Soviet program, I was trained to be ready and available for 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. But Los Angeles didn't materialize because Soviet Union didn't go there.
Los Angeles.
So the second one was 1992 in Barcelona. I was already here, but I wasn't a citizen yet. So I won my prelims and was invited to Lake Placid to train in hopes that my citizenship papers will come in. They didn't. So Leo White went, and in my weight class. And in the final, where I finally made it, I was 1996 Atlanta as an official.
In Atlanta
Yeah.
during the pipe bombing.
Yeah, I was again. Got off my shift, did all the doping and all that shit, you know, and then doping station that is. And I'm walking from Georgia Congress Center, which is squished between CNN Center and Omni at the time. Omni Arena was there.
Yeah.
And as you know, Bicentennial Park is right there, just across the way from CNN Center.
Right.
And I'm walking to a Subway, and all of a sudden, to get home, and you hear all this music playing, boom, 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 loud, and all of a sudden it goes boom. I mean, literally, I was right there. Like, I mean, from Epicenter, if I had to measure, maybe less than quarter mile.
Wow.
And the music stopped, and I thought that was just a finale. Like sometimes they do it like a
fireworks or something.
Yeah. And I kept on going, and all of a sudden, going down the Peachtree to the station, and all of a sudden, all this ambulance started coming, like, coming in. I didn't think about it. Got home, like, late. We were staying at my wife's cousin's place in Virginia Highlands. And I was so tired, so I went to bed. Next morning, wake up, turned on the TV, and couldn't freaking believe it. So that was the story.
And then they tried to pin it on
the poor guy who actually was vigilant enough to warn people about that thing.
Exactly.
But you know what? He passed away like a year or two ago, whatever. A couple of years.
2-3 years ago, right before they did that big documentary thing on him, that little movie.
Yeah, but I'm sure that he didn't need anything. He was all set by time because they settled with him. I'm pretty sure, because his lawyer went after everybody, after freaking CNN, NBC, ABC, any fucker that said something bad about him. They went after, and they all settled for undisclosed amounts.
Yeah.
I think only one, that college newspaper that totally smeared them. They were the first ones. I think they settled for $275,000, but everybody else settled for a lot more than that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he didn't get an opportunity to enjoy it too long.
No, I mean, what?
He died of like a heart attack or something. I don't know.
Maybe he died in, like, let's say in 2020, right? This shit happened in 1996. For at least quarter of a century, I hope he enjoyed, the fruit of dishonest reporting.
Let's see. Richard Jewell. He died August 29th, 2007.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah.
So not too many years, because he was probably in litigation the majority of that time trying to get the money.
Yeah, once they got that Eric Rudolph or whatever that fucker that actually did it.
Yeah.
Which took him like 6 months or something to 9 months or whatever. At that point, it went on. I mean, the lawyer cut himself loose going after those people. Let's put it this way: the last years of his life, he probably was comfortable.
Yeah, I think he let's see right here. So he got a job with the Georgia Pendergrass, where he was his deputy sheriff until his death. So, I mean, he still had a job and was working up until the day he died.
Yeah.
Poor fella.